discussed totally. There was a time during the first term of Congressman Gonzales, and we find a resolution according to the elementary of all national structures
Yes.
na ilang taon na ang edad, baka ngayon sila yung integrity na yung structure code.
No, but it's not just the old ones, it's the new ones. Because the,
Nakakatakot din sila to be part of it also. Oo. Yung integrity ng mga structures.
You know.
wait, let me just, wait. I will just, sorry na. I'm not sure if my, the problem is, it's the problem of economic sabotage, or the charge of economic sabotage, which I maintain is their crime.
Ang laban nila sa iyo, sisirain nila credibility.
Okay lang.
Saka yung sa Morales.
Yeah.
Because
No, maybe they can even have me shot. Who knows? I mean, my credibility has nothing to do with it. My credibility is not on the line because to believe or not to believe is up to the reader or the viewer. And I hope I will still be around long enough to witness the big one. Sometimes I think better if I'm not here to witness the big one, then I don't see the devastation and I don't see anything. But just to see this through, you know, I hope that they will at least do some of our recommendations. Because what I'm telling you is just the tip of the iceberg.
very laudable for doing this.
The tip of the iceberg. What I told you earlier in the small meeting we had there. This is premeditated. It's a whole unbelievable premeditated scheme to scam.
Kaya ano to, the motivation here is money.
Yes. Only pure and simple. Greed. Exactly.
Yeah.
You said it. You said it.
Greed and money, not minding the consequences
No,
of your life.
human life doesn't mean anything.
Pero kung sabi ko, sino?
It
The
doesn't-
steel manufacturer, well, I'll give you the background.
Ilan ba
No.
yung manufacturer? Wala mga organization niya.
Takes
Um,
to tango kasi.
Yeah, there are.
Pag napagaling
Are
ko
we-
dito si Digong,
Are we
solusyon tayo.
beginning already? Not yet. Is this still
Official na, yeah.
official na? So I just
Napagaling si Digong niya.
well. Okay. So good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am very happy to have been invited. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it the time Friday because I was out of the country, and then I was sick also. Another time I was sick, so I couldn't make it. But I'm really just all too happy that I'm seeing you all today. The subject matter that I am going to be taking up with you has been discussed. Wait, hang on. I will just wait. Excuse me. Off muna natin. I'm going to just tape it so that I know what I said. How do you know? I don't even know how to. How? Wait, hang on. I'll put first in. Do you know how? Which one is it? How am I going to tape it? Yeah. What do I press? You looking for the camera?
Recording
I don't know.
audio or audio recording?
Audio, I don't know how to do it. I'm just gonna put it on video and press the button.
Okay. It's here, the camera.
Camera is here.
Yeah,
Here?
yeah.
But
And it has videos here.
okay. Thank you. Okay. So, gentlemen, the subject matter that I would like to discuss with you has already been discussed in 3 press conferences and several other fora. And it is rather unfortunate that so far the major maybe news programs have really not maybe cascaded the information down. I'd like also to thank Chris Navarro for having held the very first forum also here in Clark. And that was when, Chris? That was last May, yes. It was very well attended, and I was very happy about the releases that came out because it helped alert those at least who had read it at that time. I also have a CD which of the only TV program that accepted me to be in that program. And it's the program of Brother Eddie Villanueva. And so there is a CD here, a copy which I will leave with you. There were also radio programs, like the most recent one was DWIZ with Ronnie Merck and Maru. And another one was Mr. Chavez of DZRH. And the very first radio program was Henry Omaga Diaz, DZMM, on a Saturday afternoon. I believe it was like 5 o'clock or so. No? I am referring to these shows so that later on when we talk about the subject matter, I will be referring back to these shows again. So that first forum was here in Clark. The second forum was in Annabelle's restaurant. The third forum was in Max Fried Chicken. Right? Okay. So it all started with a paper extensively researched, well documented, with proper references, and this was written by an engineer, Emilio Morales. Mr. Morales was with me when we had the forum in Clark the very first time. And just so that his credibility will not be at all questioned, ruined, or that he as a person will not be insulted, I will leave to you his biodata. A shortened form, and a longer form. I think it has more pages than his actual study. So these are already 3 items that I will leave to you for reproduction. So this paper, when it was given to me, alarmed me severely because right at the outset, the first paragraph will really give you shockwaves already, no? And as you go on further, you will really wonder why government first did nothing, second, continued to keep it a secret, and refused to answer vital questions that are very important because lives, millions of lives are on the line, and trillions of pesos could be lost in terms of investment and rehabilitation and cleaning up if the big one hits. I also had already gone to see Secretary Delphine Lorenzana of the Department of National Defense. I spoke to Secretary Dominguez, Sonny Dominguez of Finance, by phone because he was sick that time, having just arrived from abroad. I went to see Yusek Solidum of FIVOX together with Engineer Morales. I went to see Secretary Anyo of DILG because the LGUs are under the DILG and the LGUs city engineers are the ones approving the building plans, structural plans, etc. And I also had spoken to developers. The developers I spoke to are SMDC, Mr. Henry C. Jr., Tong Padilla, the president of Rockwell, Bong Tan of Eaton Properties. I spoke to Injap Sia, who is of Double Dragon. Yeah. So, and also Jess Varela. And Jess Varela is with the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And he is also with Mega World Development. So this is already a cross-section of the biggest developers and the highest in terms of cabinet positions. No? Now, I'm still trying to schedule a meeting with Mark Villar. However, during the sauna, I saw him and I told him I wanted to take this up with him. I also had given copies of this complete documentation, which I will leave with you. I gave these copies to former Senate President Coco Pimentel, Senator Dick Gordon, Senator Bam Aquino, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian as well. And in the House of Representatives, there's Congressman Biason, Congressman Malangyaon, Cora, Congressman Maxi Rodriguez, the brother of Rufus Rodriguez, and I spoke to them also personally, and Congressman Wesley Gatchalian. So they have copies of this already. The first paragraph alone is already, as I mentioned earlier, very telling, no? It says, quench-tempered, as we know it as QT, quench-tempered, or thermomechanically treated, that's another name for it, TMT, rebars, have crept into the market, replacing the microalloy, MA, steel rebars, almost completely without the knowledge of the design engineering community as well as the end users. So that alone got me extremely curious to do further research, dig deeper, talk to more people, until I came out already with this kind of documentation. I am not a structure, or I'm not an engineer by any slim chance. So everything that I will tell you is really what Emilio Morales, a structural engineer, had written in his paper. So the proponents of QT-MT rebars have stated that since these rebars have comparable physical test performance when subjected to static tension and bend tests, then it would really be a viable and safe replacement to microalloy rebars without qualification. That is the contention of the steel manufacturers. Okay? Because later on, I will go back to this. Herein is where the danger lies, says Morales, no? Because QT-MT rebars behave quite differently under cyclic loading and are also very much affected by heating, welding, bending, galvanizing, and threading procedures employed in their use, and particularly in high-rise buildings under seismic zone 4. So if we go back just a little bit, cyclic loading. This is really an earthquake test where steel bars embedded in reinforced concrete, the post will be subject to shaking until it breaks and it's documented, and those are the test results that we want to see, which we have not seen. I have not seen one test result produced by the Bureau of Standards under the Department of Trade and Industry, no test results coming from any single steel manufacturer at all. Now, advanced countries have warned against these dangers, and we believe it is our duty to inform the public and the profession of the dangers associated with their use in seismic zone 4. This is why I feel that it is part of my duty and responsibility to inform the public. And I really thank you for being really the outreach mechanism by which we could reach that public. In a recent ASEP dialogue, ASEP meaning Association of Structural Engineers of the Philippines dialogue, with the representatives of the rebar manufacturing sector, which means the steel manufacturers, conducted together with representatives of the Bureau of Research and Standards, or Product Standards actually, claims have been made that the rebars can be welded and used in high-rise buildings under seismic zone 4 conditions. This claim is very far from the truth, and at best could only be done so under very strict qualifications. We have asked the industry representatives to submit proof to prove their claims. This paper was received March 18 of 2010. It is already August 17 of 2018 today, and we have still not received a piece of paper that will show that. So, it says here, but we still do not offer any satisfactory explanation as to performance under cyclic loading in a severe earthquake environment. So they have maintained stony silence. They have maintained total quiet, silence. So it was like a stealth operation. And to this day, we don't even know when they started doing it. I mean, replacing microalloy bars with the quench-tempered bars. They never told us, they never answered my question, when did you start doing this? And who are you? Sino-sino ba kayo gumagawa nito? We don't know. Right now, personally, I don't know because I refuse to have to be the one to run around the whole city. No. The Bureau of Standards has to give us the data. So now I know Steel Asia and Pag-asa Steel Works. They're the only ones that I know for sure that are doing this. The contractors have kept silent. Developers have also kept silent, as you know, etc. And when I spoke to the insurance companies, including AXA, including AIG, they were totally shocked and stunned in the same way that the developers I spoke to were shocked and stunned because they've never heard about this. And if you, the more senior, the more experienced media practitioners still didn't hear about it, then there must be something wrong. You cannot keep a secret from media that long, or a secret this grave from media that long. So Morales is now saying the premature, well, it's rather technical in this part, no? But he's saying that the premature and relatively localized, very limited yield zone, yung sandali lang mababali na, no? Yung gusto niyang sabihin, of QT bars under repeated cyclic loading would result in the spalling of the concrete cover in reinforced concrete columns and failure of the affected rebars by premature buckling and eventual tension failure of these rebars. So pagka may earthquake, gumagalaw na yung bakal, gumagalaw lupa, gumagalaw ang poste, he's saying that the concrete around the rebars will fail, will break. So if your rebars are not strong enough, then your rebars will fail first, and then the concrete is not strong enough to carry the entire building. These rebars are supposed to be used only for low rises. We're not saying they're bulok. They're not bulok. You can use them for low rises. But for high-rise buildings,
And vertical.
you cannot do this. Okay? So various studies and research in Italy, New Zealand, and elsewhere have pointed to the dangers posed by these rebars when used in seismic zone 4. So, I will pause a little bit and give you the studies that were done. This is a paper done by Giorgio Macchi from Italy, titled Ductility Requirements for Reinforcement under Eurocodes. This is the paper by Giorgio Macchi, an Italian, that was quoted by Mr. Morales in his paper as he acknowledges it in the second to the last page of his study. References, Giorgio Macchi, Ductility Requirements in Reinforcement under Eurocodes. That's the title of this study. I shall leave with you for further. There is also a newer study which was done by a Portuguese. And this study was done by the Instituto Superior Técnico in Lisbon, Portugal. This is a study, and this is kind of like an explanation of the study, which was done by Pedro Laurenco, and this will be also submitted to you for your information. Okay, so we go on. The structural engineering practitioners. You see, Morales is a structural engineer. The structural engineering practitioners are faced with problems involving material selection. But nowhere has this been more acute than in the use of reinforcing bars that do not meet design demands in seismic zone 4, particularly as it applies to cyclic loading under seismic excitation. This is a very, very telling, dangerous warning already. The problems particularly related to the use of QT or TMT rebars and accentuated by the noticeable artificial absence na wala used and previously available microalloy rebars. So, the microalloy rebars formerly being produced in the Philippines were completely replaced by QTMT without telling the engineering community. So the structural engineers are designing buildings, designing high-rises, thinking that they are still going to be using microalloy rebars. But if you're using already quench-tempered rebars, your design has to change because they are weaker bars. They are not designed to withstand cyclic loading. You must have other precautions. Maybe you should have other studies of physics to solve this problem. In Taiwan, they have pendulums, they have water tanks to counter the balance, to counter that balance in case the building tilts to one side or the other. But if you do not know that your raw material, your steel bars, have already been replaced, then how are you going to think that you are going to still change your structural design, right? So, the problems, yeah. So thus, we said, no, that commonly used, previously available were the microalloy bars. Thus, the engineering community is deprived of a safe choice and left with a rebar that strongly affects the structural performance and adequacy of our designs in a retrogressive way under cyclic loading. Just those in the study of Morales should give you goosebumps already. Give you goosebumps already. So there is already, number one, non-disclosure of such a critical decision made by the management of those steel bars manufacturing companies. Actually, the decent thing to do should have been, they are making the microalloy bars. Now they want to make a second line, another kind of rebar. They should have informed the public and tell them, mga kababayan, kung gagawa lang kayo ng kulungan ng baboy, o kaya plant box, 1-story building, 2-story building, hindi nyo kailangan ng bakal na meron pang vanadium. Mahal yan. Yan para gagawa ka ng building ng 30-story, 40-story, 50 stories. Pero kung gagawa ka ng bungalow, townhouse, ito na gamitin ninyo. Kasi mas mura ito. Kasi sabi ni Engineer Morales, hindi sabi ni Nikki Coseteng, na wala na yung yung alloy na ginagamit. Di ba? So, now, the QT bar is manufactured. What is a QT bar? Okay? Quench tempered or TMT, thermomechanically treated. The QT bar is manufactured by, as I mentioned earlier, the rapid cooling of plain low carbon steel by a fine water spray. So, binubugahan ng fine water spray yung mainit na red hot bakal bago matapos yung manufacturing process. Okay? The quench-tempered surface, according to Morales, is tempered by the heat of the red hot core. This results in a layered steel rebar section with a heat-treated outer skin, high tensile strength of tempered martensite, and a ferrite perlite core with the slope cooling inner core. The end result is a steel bar with a higher composite yield and tensile strength than the parent material to start with. Kasi yung yung raw material, mas mababang uri, binugahan ng malamig na water spray, cold water spray, tumigas at naging mas matibay yung labas, pero yung loob, kasi yung raw material mo mahina, mahina yung loob. Hindi pareho yung loob at yung labas. Turon, ha? Okay. What is a microalloy rebar? The microalloy steel derives its strength from alloying materials, specifically, I mentioned earlier, vanadium and carbon, and consists of a uniform material cross-section. Kung anong nasa labas, yun din ang nasa loob. Di ba? Manufactured from steel billets. So, yung imported nilang steel billets, meron ng vanadium yon. Paglabas mo ng bakal, kung ano yung raw material mo, di syempre yun din ang produkto mo. The alloys are added in the heap, and this is the commonly used rebar until it suddenly disappeared in the marketplace. And mind you, that's not telling anyone about it. So, if they make a comparison, QT bars and microalloy. Microalloy, you can rebend it, you weld, thread, etc. And the quench tempered, not possible without losing strength.
When the study was made or was published in 2010,
Yes, this study.
it meant that MK rebars have vanished
Yes,
from the construction
yes,
scenario in the Philippines.
yes.
What's being implied is that by 2010, buildings will be constructed with QT bars with
Before 2010, because they refuse to disclose to me, to this day, maybe if you ask them, they might tell you, when did they start doing this? Because if I am a steel manufacturer and I want now to replace my previous product with a new product, I will now consult with all the structural engineers muna, magmi-meeting tayo. Pwede ba namin gawin ito? Alam nyo ba na ganito mangyayari or whatever, di ba? Ngayon, kung gagawin namin, winawarningan na namin kayo, ito mangyayari, ito yung material na yan, mababang uri yan compared to yung dating ginagawa, di ba? But this was completely kept silent. 2010, March 18, sinubmit itong report doon. Sa Bureau of Standards, DTI, steel manufacturers, etc. No, up to now, I will show you the DTI. Well, because you see, from that time until around March of this year, this has been in the internet. Hindi lang sila pinapansin. But when I learned about it, I cannot just keep it in the internet. I have to reach out to the people like you and tell you. When I started talking about it already, binomba na ng Steel Asia ng puro advertisement yung television. Imbis na sagutin ang mga tanong, hindi sila sumasagot. Binomba ng lahat ng mga news program, wala naman lumalabas ng ganito sa news eh. I haven't seen it in the news. And if it had come out, I apologize that I did not see it.
Yung ngayon mo sa TV, Steel Asia ba yun?
Opo.
Yung bakal?
Yes, ano sabi?
Yung Malaysia.
Steel Asia po.
Steel Asia.
Ang bagong presidente?
Kay Johnny Gamboa.
I don't know.
Si voice over si Joe.
Adrian Cristobal, who was the formerly USEC and Secretary of the DTI. Steel Asia.
Is this one major manufacturer?
Steel Asia is the biggest in the country. Yes. Po. I only know two. I don't know the others if they are manufacturing. Meron, PISI.
Building the MRT sa DEI, for instance. DMCI was building all of
Well, DMCI knows about it already because their own homeowners have been questioning them.
What about AEI?
I have not talked to them. I don't
MRT 7.
don't really know who yet to contact. But
What is the position of the organization?
oh, when on April 10, if you can do, I didn't bring a copy. I'm sorry, but on April 10, the Manila Times carried our complaint these issues in the Manila Times because Dante Ang carried it.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
asking about DTI because your school is right there.
Yes.
The fact that the Marikina Port is running out.
Right, exactly. But I have not gone to them yet. I mean, it's a long. I'm the only one. I mean, I'm only one person. So, but I will. But to answer your what was that question again, sir? You were asking me something I was saying earlier. What was I?
Senior comment lang yan. Hindi ka pa naman senior, ikaw, given the catastrophic consequences na sinasabi ninyo.
Yes.
Bakit nagka-catch fire nationally yung issue na yan?
I have no way of answering that question. I have no way of answering that question, really.
Ma'am, left and right, nag-iimbestiga sila, right? 60 billion lang yun, ha?
Maybe we need your help. If you can talk, I mentioned all the names of the people that I spoke to.
60 million
Po, po,
Did he mention anything about the magnitude of the quake or trembler that's going to hit that?
yeah, 7.3. The big one. That's the big one.
Yeah, and the big one, as we're talking about, is the Marikina Port.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this is what they are warning us about. The FIVOX has been warning us. MMDA has been conducting earthquake drills. You see? But they are conducting earthquake drills without knowing that it's the poste inside the building that's on the line.
Mamimigres lang yun.
Pero ano sabi ni Ernesto sa inyong
Rene Solidum. I think it would be good to talk to him because he was really shocked when Morales and I went to see him in his office. And actually, at the time when we were there, I was with Secretary Sani Domingos on the phone. And I told, and when I told Secretary Dominguez, he told me, "Are you sure about that?" I said, "Yes, I have Mr. Morales beside me." And I said, "I have Mr. Yusek Solidum beside me." So he said, "Can I talk to Solidum?" I said, "Okay." I gave the phone to Solidum. So now Solidum is now talking to Secretary Dominguez. And it was a very short conversation, and Secretary Dominguez asked two major questions. One, is what Senator Coseteng saying true? He said, "Yes, sir." Is what Senator Coseteng is saying dangerous? He said, "Yes, sir." And then he says, "Okay," because he's sick, he was hardly able to talk. So those were the two questions Secretary Dominguez asked Mr. Solidum. Now, recently, the Inquirer carried an article written by Melvin Gascon. Melvin Gascon. And Secretary Yusek Solidum was there quoted as having said they have to look into this quench-tempered steel bars usage in buildings. Because remember, there are now three categories of buildings. One that was using microalloy before quench-tempered steel was manufactured here. Two, the another category of buildings, of high-rise buildings, are buildings that have already been built, standing up with human beings inside already. The third category are buildings that are still excavation stage, third floor, 20th floor, 50th floor, because it will become 60 floors. Not yet finished. No occupants whatsoever yet. And maybe we add another category, buildings that are still in the drawing board. Pinag-iisipan pa, pinag-uusapan pa, dinidesign pa, hindi pa nakatayo. So these are the four categories of buildings. And yet, we have no information as to how many buildings, more than 10 stories, had been built in the last 10 to 12 years. Because I asked that question of Secretary Anyo, he said he has not yet gotten the information.
What happens to our building? Alam mo, meron building code.
Yes, okay. Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for asking me that question. I have here, but I was going to go to it kanina, but since you asked, there is a National Structural Code of the Philippines. This. I will tell you what it says because I will not read it anymore from Morales' paper. It's here. But I will read it from here. use of quench-tempered thermomechanically treated QT-TMT reinforcing bars in structures located in seismic zone 4. It says here, NZS 3101 5.3.2.1. That's quoting the New Zealand code. This is from the New Zealand law. Reinforcing bars has to comply with AS, which is Australia, NZS, New Zealand, 4671. Reinforcement shall be manufactured using either the microalloy process or the inline quench and tempered process. So they recognize both process. It says, however, where the inline quench and tempered process or equivalent is used, the restrictions of section 420.7.6.2 shall apply. And what are those sections? 420.7.6.2, NZS 3101, etc. Reinforcement bars manufactured by the inline quench and tempered process shall not be used when welding, galvanizing, hot bending, or threading of bars occurs. Maliwanag sa batas yan. Hindi, bawal yan gamitin sa welding, threading, galvanizing, and bending. Then, it is important to note that any process involving heat, such as welding, galvanizing, hot bending, can adversely affect the mechanical properties of quench and tempered reinforcing bars by modification of the microstructure. Threading of quench tempered bars removes some to all hardened outer layer, resulting in a disproportionate loss of strength. That's New Zealand, okay? It's in the, I'm reading, Structural Code of the Philippines, okay? Now, quench and tempered reinforcing bars cannot be welded without strength loss, etc., etc., etc. Now, at the bottom of this, here, at the bottom here, the foregoing restrictions were quoted verbatim from the New Zealand Standard 4207.6-1 of the New Zealand S 3101 5.3.2.1 and incorporated in this National Structural Code of the Philippines in 2015. I will leave this with you. Yeah, itong tayo po sa buong Pilipinas except Palawan. Palawan is seismic zone 2. But the entire Philippines, Taiwan, Japan, we are all 4. Yung iba hindi umaabot ng 8 eh. Ang Indonesia 500 na yata na mamatay doon, 6 something lang eh. Yung Taiwan dating last earthquake ng Taiwan 6.2, lumuluhod na yung mga building eh. Japan 8. This is our area. Malakas talaga yung
Kasi ma'am, yung sinasabi ninyo, lumitaw yun dun sa Bangladesh. So yung steel na ginamit, talagang totoo. After the earthquake, nakatayo pa yun eh.
Yeah, pero yung
surrounding niya, wala, bagsak na eh.
yung konkreto, matanggal na eh. Kasi paggalaw yung konkreto, madaling mabasag eh. Pero, sinasabi nga ni Mr. Morales, hindi naman Diyos ang mga structural engineer na gagarantihan nila hindi tutumbay ang building. Pero, kung yung bakal na ginamit mo ay mahusay na klase, meron kang panahon para tumakbo, sagipin mo yung sarili mo. Pag nauna lumusaw yung bakal dahil hindi tama para sa ganun, babagsak yung buong building, pati ikaw kasama doon. Wala ka ng chance lumabas. Wala kang chance tumakbo. Kasi, hindi, basta nakatayo yung bakal na yan, pwede ka pang lumabas.
Ito bang baka na sinasabi niyo, gaano ba ang lifespan nito? I-contrast doon sa isa.
We're not looking at the lifespan for now, but what we're doing is we're looking at how it's going to withstand the cyclic loading test. Unfortunately, we don't even have a cyclic loading testing machine in the country, in spite of the fact that the steel industry is worth like 200 or more billion pesos a year.
People keeps on warning about possibility of P1.
Yes,
Dapat just post mo talaga.
correct. That's why maybe I would appreciate it if you can invite Mr. Solidum. I will try to be here. Yes, because you see, here in Clark, you are building a new city. You are inviting foreigners to come. Foreigners are not allowed to own land. They can only buy condos. Even in Makati, even in BGC, the foreigners cannot own land. They can only buy condo units. They cannot buy houses and lots in Forbes Park, right? So, since you are starting, I mean, if they don't change what they're doing, and I will show you other things but that they're doing. If they don't change what they're doing, you might as well tell your investors, can you bring your own steel bars? You can build here in Clark, but bring your own bars. Why are you going to risk millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of investments by buying your steel bars here if this is how they look and the steel manufacturers refuse to answer questions? Why are you going to put your money at risk? And your engineers in America, your engineers in Germany, your engineers in Qatar or in Dubai or wherever your engineers are coming from, they do not know that our steel bars are made of this. So you are designing your buildings like the Burj Khalifa or the Burj Al Arab Hotel or whatever it is, and you are using what kind of steel bars? You know? So you might as well bring your own. Why? Because if you bring your own, then you decided what specifications, and you are supposed to have full knowledge of what the manufacturers are giving you. But our manufacturers in the Philippines did not even disclose to anybody when they replaced microalloy with quench tempered. How can you trust them?
Senator, doon sa study ni Engineer Morales, meron po siyang suggestion on the now available technology of using carbon fiber.
No, I have no knowledge of that. He has to be the one to be asked because he's not. Well, this is why we are precisely raising this warning, because the government never in its history has embarked on such a grand build program. Okay.
That testifies an audience to the president. For you.
Well, I wrote the president already. He has my letter.
On that big enticement.
Yes. Yes.
Talk about it with the mention that the build.
Yes,
build,
that was
build,
that was the subject of my letter, in fact.
Correct. If you premise it on that, you can have an audience perhaps.
Oh, I did. I'm waiting for a call.
Yes.
I have my phone number there, and they know how to reach me, I'm sure.
That gives
Po?
the president a purpose.
Wala po, wala. I don't have a copy. I can give you a copy. Now, the other thing so I need not read the rest of the stuff because it was already in the structural code, no? I will leave the paper of Morales, which you can read at your own time. Now, there is an agency called the MIRDC. The MIRDC, the metallurgical, it is under the DOST. Yes. Now, the MIRDC did a study, okay? And the study was quoted by Morales. The study was quoted by Morales. I am saying this because I will later on show you the DTI report. But I will have to lay the premises so that when the DTI report comes, I can always go back to it because I had already mentioned it to you. So the MIRDC came out with a report, and I'm looking for it now, excuse me, here, in the Morales report. Table 6 above here, Table 6 above from the MIRDC shows the reduction in the tensile strength and yield strength, and correspondingly, tensile strength and yield strength ratio for welded joints for using this kind of electrodes. Okay? See, because they're insisting that there's no problem welding, this is what they're saying. What we are saying is that the New Zealand code already says you're not supposed to do that because you will lose strength, right? There is also an electrode that you can use, except that this electrode for the welding of rebars are not locally available. These electrodes cost 7 times higher than the normal electrodes. So I don't know if there's any contractor that will say, magwe-welding kami, pero bibili namin yung wala dito, dun sa abroad namin kukunin, pero bayad kayo 7 times higher. And in spite of using that kind of an electrode, you are not even sure of the skills of the welder that are being hired. Some people are only sideline as a welder. Sideline na yung pagwe-weld. Maybe they're a jeepney driver. Maybe they are a carpenter. Maybe they are a mason. Makikita nila sa job site, kailangan namin ng welder. O sige, ikaw na muna mag-weld dyan. Not all of them are licensed welders. You see? So we cannot even guarantee that, no? Yes. So, you can see now that the failure of the rebars include those due to application of welding and due to the inadvertent damage from the gas cutting equipment. In the process of welding, nadadamage talaga yung kanilang bakal, yung ginagawang bakal na ganito, no? So it doesn't mean that those quench-tempered bars are really cheaper, because your risk to human life is at what price? And you need pa, before you weld it, you need pa to have the 7 times higher the price of the electrode. So if you see that chart that I was showing you from the MIRDC study, it says here, location of fracture, all of them, welded portion, weld. Where you weld it, that is where the fracture is located. Okay? So, this MIRDC study was also quoted by the DTI, but they quoted it in a different way. Okay? See, here it says, furthermore, the cost of that electrode, ASWE 10018, in the local market is 7 times that of the regular welding rod. So here, all information I'm giving you is found here, no more, no less. And that doesn't even guarantee that it is going to be safe.
Yung mga tall structures, normally, they're not using round steel bars. Ang ginagamit nila yung mga
Those are angle. You mean I-beams?
yes. Yung mga overtrain ng
No, this is only reinforced.
Yung mga construction, if they're using rounded steel bars. Kasi yung labas, parang si Charon.
If it is quench-tempered.
Yes.
Yes.
Ang less ang danger, yung malalaking
Well,
structures.
I don't want to answer that, no, because it's not in the study of Morales.
I see.
So I cannot answer any kind of things that
So,
are not here.
my question is not answered yet.
No, not yet. Because if you look at Ayala, SMDC, ganyan, the structural engineers have their own computations. What are the equivalencies of those?
Even the gravity of your epoxy. After this one, should next step up.
The next step?
Oh, nasa media sa may
Well,
hindi kayo pwede kong supportin. For government.
Well, I really don't want to telegraph my punches because they're really trying to destroy my reputation already. As of now, one of the answers of the Secretary of Trade and Industry, Ramon Lopez, he's saying that I am just continuing to make noise he starts his text message with ha ha ha, and then he says, I'm just continuing to make noise
Because you're running
because
for public office.
because I'm running for public office.
So, the best answer is you're not.
I'm not. And even if I am, so what? It's not going to strengthen your steel bars.
It's a free country.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, isipin mo, from a Secretary of Trade and Industry, he has become the spokesman of the steel manufacturers. Now, let him deny it. Because I will now show you the documentation that clearly the DTI statement could have been written by the steel companies.
They're saying when the mouth is full, the stomach is also.
No, I think that your question, when QT bars
Started replacing.
replacing the 80 bars
Yes.
is very important because based on when it happened, will give us an idea
Yes.
of which buildings
To watch.
probably made from QT bars.
Right.
They're built after the 80 bars.
Yes.
Reference time, but not-
Ayaw nilang sabihin.
They could have vanished na by 2010, for example. All buildings, high-rises, which were constructed after 2010
Tama
were
yung
probably
Insurance
Yes.
company, sino mag-provide sa damage niya?
But the question is, you have to ask the insurance companies. Why? When they insured building A, they were supposing that this building A steel bars used are microalloy. Because there was no information given to anyone, they are insuring a building without even analyzing too much. Yeah. Now, when they find out that these buildings are made with quench-tempered bars and a unit collapses, are they going to pay? Because they never knew about it. Di ba?
Now they have a reason.
Yes. Now, what are you going to do with all the premiums that all these homeowners and everybody, are paying? If you have a class suit, recently there was this guy, the court awarded him $290 million because he was using this weed killer of Monsanto. And Monsanto was ordered by the court to pay $290 million to this 40-year-old man who now has cancer because there was no warning in the label of the weed killer product that this is cancer-causing if used in a prolonged manner. Di ba? Now, okay. Now,
Monsanto is the only company in the bankrupt city of East St. Louis.
okay.
It's
Now,
the only company there.
Now, what surfaced is there are 4,000 other cases similar to this where the ruling was this man has to be paid $290 million. So if one case was awarded that, what are you gonna do with the 4,000? Are you gonna just throw them out in the garbage can? Diba? Anyway, talking about labeling. We have a Philippine national standard. This is now different from the structural code. This structural code, these are used by the engineers. No. The Philippine national standard is more readable, more simple. Can be read by you and me. It can be read by homeowners. It can be read by developers, owners of these. Yeah, it's very simple. There is a rule here that says, under marking, the manufacturer's identifying mark, bar size, and grade shall be clearly embossed in each bar. The system of marking shall be given below and as follows in figure 1. So if this is your steel bar, there you have the manufacturer's mark, initials of the manufacturer. Naka-emboss ito. SA, Steel Asia. PSW, Pag-asa Steelworks. So you have to emboss your name. Then, after your name, you emboss the grade. So, is your grade now 275? Is it grade 415? It means to say, are you grade 40, grade 60? You emboss it next to your name. Kasi yung bakal, di ba, may space yan? Okay. And then the next space, you have to emboss the size of the bar. This is not my quotation. This is from the Philippine National Standard. Okay?
Lalo ko sa nagdadaya na.
Now, so you will say now, this is 16 mm, you put 16. 20 mm, you put 20. 25 mm, you put 25. Whatever your mm is, you put here. Embossed. Then, W under means weldable. You mean weldable. Your bar, you will say now, my bar, this is my company initials, is of grade 60. Here's the grade. It is of this size, and it is weldable. That is what this says. Now, they added something now that is going to completely change the picture. And I will tell you why later. That's 9.1 earlier. This is now 9.2. Dagdag ito eh. Wala na, yun lang naman eh. Dinagdag lang nila ito eh. Color codes. Painted. Not embossed. You cannot emboss a color code. Painted on the surface of the ends of each bar may also be used in lieu of the embossing that was earlier referred to. Okay, now, this is now what it looks like. You have now a steel bar, supposed to be the company name, the grade, the size, and W for weldable. Papalitan na nila yan, hindi mo na kailangan gawin yon. Pinturahan mo na lang yung mga dulo para ma-identify natin yung anong klaseng bakal, anong grade. Di ba? Kasi kung grade 40 lang yan, hindi mo yan gagamitin dun sa 70 stories kasi grade 40 kailangan mo 60 doon, di ba? Okay. Now, okay. Here. For grade 33, your painting is white. Ito kasulat dito. I'm reading it. For grade 40, the paint is color yellow. For grade 60, it is green. Weldable, kung weldable, wala na yung W, no? Wala na yun. Ang gagawin mo, additional color code, red. Okay? Kung quench-tempered, ang kulay ay silver. Ipipaint mo doon sa bakal. So sabi ko, nung nandun ako sa Bureau of Standards, nagpunta ako doon eh. Nandun ako sa Bureau of Standards, ang tanong ko, ano po ba ang kulay ng bakal? Gray. Ano po ba ang kulay ng silver? Gray din ho. Eh paano mo malaman diferensya ngayon kung quench-tempered? Gray. Okay. Yan. I will now show you one of the things here. The ones who decide on what the Bureau of Product Standards, regulations, testing, anong kind ng test, etc., is a committee, a technical committee number 11. They call them TC11. It is under the Bureau of Product Standards, Department of Trade and Industry. This came from them. The chairman is a Mr. Wellington Tong. He's the owner of Pag-asa Steel. And then they have other members from government agencies. Dr. Fadulig, who is the Metals Industry Research and Development Center, MIRDC, he's also there. You have Association of Philippine Steel Mills, GI Wire Manufacturers, Philippine Nail Manufacturers, Philippine Iron and Steel Institute of a certain Robert Cola. All these people are all there. And they decide what kind of tests must be mandatory and what kind of tests not needed. So they decided yung cyclic loading test not needed.
Not the government.
No, the government. Bureau of Standards. This is a committee in the Bureau of Standards.
Meron direct conflict of interest.
So now, the whatever the technical committee recommends, the Bureau of Product Standards will accept. Di ba? Will accept that recommendation. Right? So they decided that yung mga cyclic loading hindi na kailangan. Ang gawin nyo, I will read you later the text of Secretary Lopez. They test it in the job site. But my God, you test it in the job site? Anong expertise nung job site sa laboratory compared to laboratory? Ayun. Now, wait, hang on. Hang on pa muna. Marami pa. Tayo muna. Sandali. Ngayon, ano ngayon ang itsura nitong bakal ng Steel Asia? Ito, dito, yan. Steel Asia, nakasulat dito, SA. Tapos, nakasulat 1.6. So, complied sila dun sa company name at saka sa size. Paano ngayon natin malaman kung anong grade itong bakal na to? Eh, pagka hinelerar mo yung bakal na yan, kahit anong grade yan, halos pare-pareho itsura ng bakal, hindi ba? So, how can you tell the difference, right? Pininturahan ng green dito.
That determines difference.
That determines the grade. Na grade 60 ito pang high-rise. Samantalang, ang quench-tempered, bawal talaga sa high-rise in the first place. In the first place. Kanina, di ba sinabi ko na, hindi pwede sa high-rise yan. At saka hindi pwedeng welding yan. Wala naman nakalagay W, no W, wala. Basta ganyan lang siya. Ito ngayon ang bakal ng Steel Asia. Yan ang sinasabi nila sa advertisement nila, ang bakal ng Pilipinas, matibay, blah, 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 blah. Pero, tingnan nyo ang itsura ng bakal ngayon. Ibig sabihin, premeditated ito. Huwag natin sasabihin kung kailan tayo nagsimula. Huwag natin sasabihin kailan natin naisip gawin yan. Huwag natin sasabihin sa mga engineers na gagawin na natin o ginagawa na natin. Huwag natin sasabihin sa mga developers. Huwag natin sasabihin sa homeowner. Huwag natin sasabihin sa media. At kung sabihin natin sa media, sasabihin natin, huwag nila sasabihin sa tao.
Bayaran natin sila.
Ay, hindi ko po sinabi yun. Kayo nagsabi.
No, 1+1.
Ngayon, ang masaklap po dito, kung ganitong itsura ng bakal, sikreto nyo, hindi nyo pinaalam, ayaw nyo sagutin yan. Ha? Number one. At, ngayon na nabuking na kayo, imbis na sagutin nyo lang yung mga tanong, talagang lulunurin nyo ng advertisement na ang tibay ng bakal ng Steel Asia, yung tibay ng Pilipinas. Ang nakakatawa pa dito, nakaka-insulto pa yung kanilang ad. Sabi nila sa umpisa, sabi nila yung Pilipinas babagsak na. Sabi nila yung Pilipinas ay mahina. Sabi nila nakakaawa daw. Pero yung mga sabi-sabi nila ay walang mangyayari kasi lakas ng Pilipino, ang lakas ng bakal. Sabi ko, ano ito? Ano to? Bakit ngayon lang kayo naglalabas niyan? Nung hindi nyo naririnig ang boses ni Coseteng, wala kayong sinasabing ganyan. At never ko sinabi na ang Pilipinas babagsak. Babagsak ang Pilipinas dahil sa bakal na ginagamit, na babagsak ang building, kaya magiging desierto lahat yung BGC na yan pag bumaksak yung building. Oh, ngayon, ano ngayon? Si Coseteng ba ang gumawa ng bakal? Hindi. Sinasabihan ko lang sila na bakit kayo ganyan? Dahil pinlano nyo na yan ng matagal na, pati yung pagkukulay. Ano ito? Easter egg? Easter egg gawin nyo green? Food coloring gagamitin nyo? Ngayon, halimbawa, nagdala ka ngayon ng abogado. Nahulog ngayon yung building. Sabihin nyo, okay, yan. Bakal na yan. Hindi yan grade 60. Eh kung sabihin sa'yo, bakit? Sino ba nagsabing grade 60 yan? Meron ba naka-emboss dyan na grade 60? Oo. Meron ba dyan? Meron ba kaming kasulatan? Ang hinihingi ko ngayon sa lahat ng steel factory, sumulat kayo ng certification. Lahat ng bakal na aming ginagawa, pananagutan namin yan. Ang sinabi namin grade 60 sa loob at labas, grade 60 talaga, pipirma kami, eto notaryado. Di ba? Ba't ayaw nila gawin yun? Eh bakit naman? Hindi. Pero kung bibili ka ng cellphone, bibili ka ng refrigerator, bibili ka ng camera, sasabihin nila, oy, at least ito may guarantee how many years? At yung mga camera na yan, ina-advertisement nila talaga, ang dami-daming advertisement. Sasabihin nila, kami, anong ang lente namin ganito, yung gigabytes, ilang storage, ganyan, ha? Sasabihin mo yung specification mo, ito wala kayo sinasabi. At saka, yung test na hinihingi ko sa kanila, hindi lang yung test ginawa kahapon. Ang gusto ko, yung test, yung unang bakal na linabas nila, saan yung test? Yung unang lumabas na bakal. After 2 years, nag-test kayo, pareho pa ba yung bakal nyo?
If there was any,
Wala nga test. Wala nga result. Hinihingi ko yun eh. Kasi bakit? Sa lahat ng krusada ko sa buong buhay ko, itong krusadang ito, gusto ko sana ako ang nagkamali. Kung ako nagkamali, matutuwa pa ako eh. Kasi ibig sabihin, lahat yung mga bakal na ginagamit nyo ay talagang to standard. Pero yung sinisikreto nyo, ayaw nyo sumagot, sasagutin nyo ako sa milyon na advertisement, samantalang just by keeping quiet, you're spending millions and millions of pesos, why don't you just answer me? It's free of charge. I will even pay for the one-page ad. Just answer me. Lalagay ko, sabi ng Steel Asia or sabi ng Pag-asa or sabi ng anumang steel factory, yung bakal daw nila, ganyan-ganyan, pirmahan nila. Oh, di ba? And then it will give everybody peace of mind.
Ma'am, yung bang raw materials, used for manufacturing steel in the country, all imported?
Mostly, I believe it's all important.
Importation, don't they declare whether the materials they want to import is from Greek, 60 or Greek?
No, this is the thing, no? I have been asking for the records. Well, I think the Department of Justice can ask for it already because it's gotten to that level. But I have been asking for the records in my questions. I'll show you later. For the records of the Bureau of Customs in the last 8 years, maybe. Why? Because their documentation cannot be changed unless they burn down the record section again. No? But it will show how many tons of grade 60 billets did they import in the last 10 years. Kunyari, how many grade 60 steel bars did they sell in the last 10 years? If there is a one-to-one correspondence, I have no problem. But suppose they imported 1 million tons, but they sold 10 million tons. That's impossible. You cannot import 1 million tons of billets and manufacture 10 million tons out of that. It's not the same as distributing wine and bread in a wedding feast.
We're not given any record.
Up to now, no. But I've been asking that. Now, another thing I have to show you. So, here now is,
I think they will answer if you will rebalance it.
oh, but I really don't have to. I am too busy doing things. Anyway, there are tests in my possession dated 10 April 2018. Just so that they will say, wala ka naman din test eh. Meron akong test. Kung meron kayong test from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, from Harvard, from kung saan-saan, na mali pala ako, then let us go to Harvard and let's go to MIT and let us test it together. Para you are trying to disprove my test. Right? Okay. Yung sinasabi nilang test na pinapasa nila, pagkikita ko sa iyo, talagang pinapasa nila eh. Why? Because it is the test, yung bakal, nakaupo lang dyan. Ayan, andyan yung bakal. Test nila. Ito ngayon. The Steel Asia steel bar, 20 mm ang diameter before threading. Bago nila i-thread. Okay? Ang tensile strength, 600. Kasi sabi nila pumapasa sila eh. Yung 600 pasado eh. Bakit? Kasi ang minimum 550. But after threading, yung kanilang test result, 530 na lang. In any language, 530 is below 550. After trading. Di ba?
Let's move with the...
Yung elongation, 20 yung before trading. After trading, 11. Nangalahati, halos. Yung tibay, yung lakas. Ngayon, ang standard specification, 14 eh. So kung 20 ka, pasado kami eh. 14 lang yun eh. Pero after trading, 11 na lang. Yun ang sinasabi ni Morales, hindi ako nagsasabi. Yun ang sinasabi sa study ni Morales. Ngayon, yung 16mm, before trading 590, 550 nga eh, di ba? So 590 sila, pasado. Nakaupo lang yung bakal na yan eh. Ganyan, no? Yung bakal ba, ganyan? Hindi. Pagkatapos ng trading, 530. Ang 530 below 550 eh. Okay? 18 ang elongation before trading. 14 ang standard specification, 14. Ang minimum yun ha. So, yung 18 niya, after trading, naging 10. Fail yun. Ngayon, iiwanan ko rin ito sa inyo para wag nilang sabihin na hindi naman ako nag-iiwan ng papel. Sila, wala pa ako nakikita kahit isang papel na binigay sa akin.
Sino nag-conduct ng study niya?
Binigay lang sa akin ito.
Ni
It's just given to me by a friend. Because they were just...
We can go forward. At the end of the day, what are you going to do with all those papers? Aside from the information that aren't you going to file cases against any of these officials or any of these manufacturers?
Like,
We are going to collate all of this and leave it to the legal experts because I am not a legal expert, but it is not far-fetched that that will happen. Because if I am telling a lie from February up to now, I should be in court or they should sue me
Yeah.
for lying.
Is PACC credible to you?
Sorry?
PACC.
PACC.
Volunteer
Presidential
against- No, no.
Anti-Crime
VP. Volunteer Against Crime and Corruption.
Yeah, Dante Jimenez he's now the PACC.
No, but he has a private,
Yeah, but he's now that private entity.
You think they are now tainted?
No, I think they are conducting
Okay.
an investigation. They are.
If, maybe you can work hand in hand with PACC
They're looking.
and pursue a thing like this.
Now, dito naman sa bending test, nakalagay dito, bend test, 12 mm. Okay? It is, kasi nakalagay, location of fracture, welded portion. Location of fracture, welded portion. Sa 12, 16, and 20 mm, ang location ng fracture sa welded portion. Sa bend test, ang 12 mm no crack. Malit lang eh. Payat lang yung bakal na yun eh. 12 mm no crack. Pero sa 16 mm, break at welded portion. 20 mm, break at welded portion. So, sinasabi ko, para na lang maglabas sila ng test, eto po ang test na nasa kamay ko. Kung meron kayong test na iba, di ba? Tingnan natin, labas nyo. Bakit March, April, May, June, July, August, 6 na buwan? Dapat yung mga test na yan nasa computer nyo, in 2 seconds nandun na. Pwede nyo ilabas yan. Pabrika kayo ng bakal eh. Ayaw nyo ba pag malaki na yung bakal nyo pumapasa ng test? Ganitong klase yung test? Ayaw nyo kung ako may test at akong pabrika ng bakal, araw-araw front page yan. May pera ako eh. Ako may-ari ng pabrika ng bakal, araw-araw ilalagay ko. Itong test namin, January 1, August 1, December 1. Sa wines nga eh, may wine tasting araw-araw eh. Bawat isang barilis na ganun, ibang nagte-taste. Para sigurado, pare-pareho sila. Hindi naman nakakamatay yun ng ganito, di ba? Okay, so I will leave this test to you. Now, I will also show you a JICA paper. But this was done when the population of Manila was only 10 million. Today, it is how many? So this may be Metro Manila. This may be a paper that was done before Fort Bonifacio in Taguig was established. At that time, based on a 7.2, that is our big one eh, yung sinasabi natin na magkaroon ng malaking earthquake, or based on a 7.2 magnitude earthquake, at 1.3 million residential buildings, they expect 168,000 to be heavily damaged and 339,000 to be partially damaged. In a population of 10 million, the casualty, dead, 33,500 and injured, 113,000. Buildings and high-rise, medium-rise and buildings that are medium-rise and high-rise, 10 to 30 stories na building, dati, about 1,000 buildings lang daw, sabi nila. Ang heavily damaged, 11%, ang partially damaged, 27%. That totals 38%. So 1,000 buildings, ang 38% ay 380 buildings. Na-imagine ba natin kung gaano katagal lilinisin mo yung lugar na binagsakan ng 380 buildings? Yung linis lang muna, hindi pa yung huhukayin mo yung foundation. Hindi, huhukayin mo pa ulit yun para itayo mong bago, di ba?
Building like LRT.
Yeah, hindi pa ito. 30 to 40 stories, wala pa silang, 30 to 60 stories, wala pa silang, hanggang 73 na tayo ngayon, yung Hyatt 73 na yun. So 30 to 60 story building, 119 lang. Ang heavily damaged, 2%, at ang partially damaged, 12%, which means 14%. Of 120, sabi mo na lang 10% para safe. That is 12 buildings. Okay, ngayon, itong sinasabi nilang partially damaged, ang tanong ko very simple eh. Ikaw nakatira ka sa 30-story building. Nandun ka sa 20th floor. Nasira ngayon yung unit mo sa 20th floor. Kayo ba na nasa 26, titira ka pa doon, alam mo na yung kanyang 20th floor, lumuhod na? Eh, ikaw naman, nasa 16th floor, nakatayo ka pa rin eh. Partially damaged lang ang building, hindi naman completely damaged ang building. Babalik ka pa ba doon? Kung hindi ka na babalik, saan ka titira? Dahil wala ka naman pambili ng down payment ng another unit somewhere else. At lahat ng pera mo, lahat ng buwan-buwan na sweldo mo, OFW ka, kapitan ka ng barko, etc. Bumili ka na ng condo para pag uwi mo, pag retire mo at the age of 65 or 60, meron ka ng titiran. At yung anak mo, kung ano man ang kinikita niya, kung nasa call center siya, doon din niya binubuhos sa... Hindi naman mabebenta lahat yung condominium na yan kung hindi dahil sa mga middle class na bumibili. Yung mga makaka-afford ng 50 million, 20 million halaga ng condo, ilan lang naman yun. Marami dyan bumibili yung, halimbawa, 5 million. Yeah, correct. But how many OFW do we have? And what are you gonna tell them? Pumunta ka sa ibang bansa, iwanan mong pamilya mo, kumita ka ng pera, ihulog mo dito sa condo. Tandaan mo yung mga condo, nagpapadala yan ng mga salesman, di ba? Ng mga agent, realty agents, di ba? Na abroad. Oh. Yung pala, hindi pala alam nung may-ari ng condo building na nag-develop na ganyan pala bakal ang binibenta sa kanya. Remember, the key here is they kept this a secret. They kept it a secret. This is economic sabotage.
And conspiracy.
In conspiracy,
By the
the
way,
lack of quantity.
by the way, ma'am, did you know that the biggest cost was the money?
Yes. Because labor is 30% only. Now, the point is this. They will argue, and I will give you their argument, na hindi lang naman bakal yan eh. Paano yung konkreto? Kung mahina yung konkreto. No, we cannot deal with it on a individual case-to-case situation. We're saying, kung ang konkreto mo tama, ang structural engineer mo pareho, the same guy doing it, ang specification mo pareho, lahat, the same building, twin tower yan, no? Pareho-pareho yan eh. Yung isang tower, gawin mong quench tempered ang bakal. Yung isang tower, gawin mo microalloy. Iba na yan completely eh. Completely iba na yung properties.
When people finally get honest, they conduct a study, found out that the entire global city, for example, was made from
Oh, regional lang pinag-usapan natin.
Others import. Well,
any structure, any engineering
Okay, the buildings in are along the road. They are not like the buildings in Malaysia, because in Malaysia you have to have a setback how much. If your lupa is 1,000 square meters, you can only build on 700. The 300 is empty space. Dito, ang building, dikit-dikit yan. At pati yung likod. Di ba? Doon sa office, pwera lang yung bandang mall na meron lakaran, di ba? May mga playground, iba yan. Pero kahit na bumagsak yung malayo sa playground, pag talbog nung mga poste na yan, nako, pati yung mga playground, ubus yan lahat, di ba? So, anong gagawin? Sabi ng iba, merong pwedeng retrofitting. Okay. Pag ni-retrofitting mo yan, ako, ito ini-imagine ko lang, no? Kasi, nagbebenta sila ng unit na 20 square meters. 20 square meters, ganito, okay? Sabihin mo, kakapalan mo yung poste mo kasi titibayan mo. Wala matitira sa'yo, matutulog ka, nakatayo. Wala na matitira sa'yo eh. Sino ang gagastos niyan? Yung bang nagbenta sa'yo, gagastos? Ikaw ang may-ari, ikaw bumili? O yung gumawa ng bakal, naging dahilan kung bakit ka ngayon gagastos? Dapat ngayon pa lang, i-pinpoint ang responsibilidad. Dahil kung ako, sinabi ni Big Boy C sa akin, Henry C. Jr., hindi niya alam na ganyan ang bakal na binibili nila. Sabi ni Albert Yu, si Albert Yu, more than 1,000 buildings ang na-design niya na. Hindi rin niya alam. Narinig lang daw niya sa akin. Hindi, narinig niya kay Mr. C. Dahil nung sinabi ko kay Mr. C, tinawagan ni Mr. C, si Mr. Yu, si Architect Yu.
They confirmed that they used QT?
Yes. Why will they not? They have no other choice unless they imported. And since they did not import, they bought locally made. They buy from Steel Asia. Ayala is using QT. Everybody's using QT. Saan ka kukuha ng hindi QT? Puwera si Morales. Hindi nga nila alam eh. Yes. Only Engineer Morales, when he built the Nestle plant, yung Nestle, 7-story or 8-story lang yan, Nestle na yan. Sinulat niya doon, ito ang engineering design ko. Pero sa ilalim nakasulat, only use microalloy rebars. Dito steel, nakasulat doon eh.
Now with your expose, have people constructing high-rise buildings continue importation of MA bars?
Okay, this is another person that you have to talk to. His name is Jess Varela.
Oh, I see.
He's the head of the PCCI, right?
Not PCCI.
Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Yes, I know. I
He's
went
the younger brother
of Mike
Mike.
Mike Varela's brother. Okay,
Younger brother.
because
Sino naman ay? Si
Mike,
Si Mike. Oh.
because no, it was ECOP.
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
That's Mike.
Yeah.
These guys with PCCI. Anyway, he called me
Nice guy,
He called me one day. He's very intelligent. He's nice and he's brave.
Yeah.
He calls me one day. Sabi niya, "Oh, Senator, tama yung ginagawa mo. Tama yung sinasabi mo." Sabi ko, "Ha?
Ano yung big bot niya?
Ha?
Ano sinabi niya ba?
No." Sabi niya, "Tama yung sinasabi ko. Continue yung ginagawa ko."
Wala pa.
So naglakas ako ng loob kasi siya nagsabi sa akin. Sabi ko, "Bakit? Paano mo alam ito?" Sabi niya, "Alam mo, mga 2 or 3 years ago, merong mga bata na nag-import ng bakal. Yung mga yon, yung bakal daw, nandun yung barko, nandun pa sa malayo sa dagat. Pinabalik na kung saan nanggaling yung bakal. Bawal papasukin dito." Okay? Number 1. Number 2, binigyan sila ng listahan ng susundan mo ng mga items para hindi makapasok yung bakal nila na in-import na microalloy. I have to show you this because I forgot to now. Ang ginawa nila, nung pumasok yung mga bakal na yan, ang ginawa nila, dahil sila mas makapangyarihan,
Cartel.
binagsak nila yung presyo. Yung presyo ng bakal ay 33 pesos. Ang ginawa nitong mga manufacturers, ginawa nilang 23 pesos. Kaya nalugi lahat yung mga nag-import ng bakal. Kaya nila yun eh. Binagsak nila yung presyo sa 23 pesos. Hindi ko ito alam until sinabi ni Jess Varela sa akin to. Kaya sabi ko, alam mo, sinisisi ako na yun daw importer ng bakal ang nagbibigay sa akin ng pera para i-expose ito. Sabi ko kay Jess Varela, oy, pakilala mo sa akin yung nag-i-import ng bakal. Kasi hindi ko alam sino sila eh. Dapat pala, bago ko in-expose ito, nag-import na rin ako. Di ba? Kasi, so, one day, tinawag niya ako sa office niya. Pumunta ka sa office ng ganitong araw, ganitong oras. Nagpunta ako doon. Pagdating ko doon, tinawagan niya, yung lahat na importer ng bakal, siyempre alam ng PCCI importer ng bakal eh. Tinawag nila, ito si blah blah blah, ganyan, 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 ganyan. Ito yung importer ng bakal. O sabi ko kayo saan yung binibigay nyo sa akin? You know? That's how ridiculous it is. Yes, kapatid po ni Mike. Okay. Tapos, sabi pa niya, lahat yung mga pinabalik na barko. Ilang barko yan, pinabalik nila sa source. Ang ginawa nung mga bata, mga millennials daw hindi ko alam lahat kung sino sila. Tapos, alam mo, binigyan nila ng rules na hindi, lahat ng bakal, kailangan may embossed name, embossed grade, and embossed size.
Para traceable.
Para traceable from abroad. Okay? Ito ang
Walang requirement na gano'n.
ito ang imported bakal. MRTC, it's a Mitsui bakal.
Diba?
And 415, naka-emboss. And 20 yung size. So this is an imported steel bar.
Isa sang ginagawa yung marking kasi pagdating dito, in-impose locally yung mga requirements. Sa pagdating dito, i-impose pa ng ganyan.
Hindi. Doon sa factory nila sa China pa lang, ginawa na yan. Kasi, nasa gitna na nga ng dagat yung bakal nila, pinaalis eh. Ngayon, hindi, kaya nga, nung pinasok nila ito, alin po?
Nobody gonna sell, right? When you buy or when you construct, you base your pricing sa sell prices, which is ano ba yung DPWH. Nakasama ba yung mga yan? Naturally. Sure. Diba?
But this bakal, the imported bakal, I don't know if the DPWH is really using it. The,
Kasi gagamitin yan sa
costing.
paggawa ng
Costing. Yeah. So, ang nangyari ngayon,
Yung portion yan is still
ang ginawa nila ngayon, nung pumasok na yung ibang bakal, binagsak nila yung presyo below para malugi yung mga,
Throat na yan.
di ba?
Kaya na yan.
Masisira ng loob yung importer na.
Well, nag-i-import sila. Like I think if you check, I'm not sure, but I think the Shangri-La, for example, will import their bakal. Marami naman nag-i-import ng sarili nila eh. I cannot confirm, I only heard that the MCI is importing bakal. Jess Varela told me that Mega World is importing bakal.
dami yan eh.
Before your expose or after your expose?
Well, I don't know. He just told me that about 2 weeks ago. He told me that.
Senator, may I just answer you? Tanong mo kanina, meron bang technology to address this? Parang remedial na ito eh. That has something to do with my question kanina. May available technology ngayon. Kaya ko lang tinatanong, yung carbon fiber, yun ang ginagamit ng DPWA sa mga
Shoring up yung parang yung
yung mga mahinang bridges, ginagawa
To shore it.
ng carbon fiber, stronger than steel, mahal.
Yeah, but we're talking here about the vertical structure.
I don't know kung important yan, pero
Pero how will they do that to a vertical structure?
basta yun,
Na nakatayo na.
hindi soft yan pagka nilagay. Naghaharden.
Pero yung paano ba? The only option for those who have bought buildings with inferior steel would be the
Kailan nag-umpisa yung MA? Kailan nag-umpisa yung gig?
ayaw po nilang sagutin kung kailan. They don't want to answer.
Di ba?
They don't want to answer.
Yung mga buildings.
Tingnan mo.
This is at least 10 years ago because the paper that I presented to you earlier was submitted to the DTI Bureau of Standards in March 18 of 2010. So kung natapos yung paper at yun ang prinisenta niya sa 2010, March 18, halimbawa 2 taon niya ginawa yung paper, edi 2008, edi 2018 ngayon, di 10 years. Pero ayaw nila sabihin kung kailan. Quiet.
Ang dami nang natayong building.
Correct, correct. They don't want to say. So I will give this to you also. Yes.
Meron ng statement na nag-vanish na yung ano, yung
By March 10.
ginawa niya.
By March 8, by March 18, 2010, sinasabi na niya na nawala na yung gano'n, ano?
Si Solid yung ma'am, nag-ano ng warning.
Matagal na yan. Matagal na. Yes,
He
he's
did
warning
recently.
everybody.
He did recently. You have to call it.
Panahon pa
Quench
ni-
temper. But the interview that was conducted, the interviews, plural.
He's the proper person to...
Yes. But the problem is, they are not writing what he's saying. They are not, the interview with Solidum is, let's say, this long. So they're writing this long, to which I'm nagpapasalamat na meron pang naiwan, na sinabi pa. Kung nawala lahat, edi wala.
Just gave up.
Kasi the first guy
Yeah,
really wrote about Solidum or about Purong Bayan. Purong Bayan ba?
I think
Was Dick
Inquirer.
Pascual of Cavite.
Sorry.
Remember Dick Pascual
Yes.
wrote this story about the big tremor. Panahon pa yung Purong Bayan. And we were looking at the faults hitting up to Tagaytay. Lahat
Yes.
ng mga buildings na itinayo sa Makati at sa BGC, talagang tatamaan na pag 7.2.
Yes. I just don't want to think about it because my daughter lives on the 26th floor in BGC. And I really wish na lang that it will not happen. Hindi ko sinasabi na ito expose ko dapat mangyari para mapatunayan na tama ako. Hindi. Mas gusto ko wag na lang mangyari kahit na sa buhay ko, sa buhay pa ng apo ko, wag sana mangyari. I don't want it to happen para lang mapatunayan na tama ako. You see, I'm right? No, that's not my point. That's not what I want to say. Now, the DTI, as I told you, had been conducting meetings with so-called stakeholders, but they never invited me. So I called Secretary Ramon Lopez one day, and he says, I said, Mr. Secretary, I want to talk to you because as we are talking now, they are conducting meetings without me being present, and I am the complainant, and I think I should be present. So he said he was leaving for Cebu. I said, what time's your flight? 3 o'clock. No problem. I will sit in the Marriott coffee shop and wait for you. And we can talk and ready to go. It's just across the street from Terminal 3. Right. So actually, when I got there, we were given a piece of paper that said our presentation should be 10 minutes. And I said, if it's 10 minutes, I have to go because I cannot present this in 10 minutes. So they said, okay. So I submitted a paper. Hurriedly, I submitted a paper. And it was distributed to everyone who was there. This was in May 11 at the BOI, AVR, Industry and Investments Building in Buendia, Makati. Secretary Lopez presided in that meeting. And it took 4 hours. I have the tape of the entire proceedings of that. It was in that meeting where I was totally shocked at Engineer Morales because he's a very soft-spoken, quiet guy. And as he was making his presentation, he said, the engineering and design community was never informed by the steel manufacturers. And Mr. Secretary, if the steel manufacturers present here, and they were present there, could show me the materials that they gave us to warn us and inform us when they were going to start replacing microalloy with quench-tempered steel, I will eat it in front of you. Kakainin ko yung papel nila. Andun yung mga steel factories, wala man lang nagsalita na kung ako nandun at ako yung factory ng steel at tama yung ginagawa ko, assuming tama, sasabihin ko sa kanya, Mr. Morales, in 10 minutes, my staff will be here to show you the paper and please go get a bottle of ketchup and eat it in front of us now. Mula noon, up to this day, May 11, June 11, July 11, August 11. Kahit hanggang ngayon, wala pa ako nakita ni isang advertisement o isang one-page ad, half-page, 2-column inch ad, anything, para warningan kayong lahat na yung ginagamit nito, itong bagay na ito, pwede lang for story, kulungan ng baboy, kulungan ng aso, pwede. Huwag nyo gagamitin yan dun sa 73 stories. So ngayon, ano yung mga sinabi ko dun? I explained to them that this is the Morales paper and that FIVOX USEC Rene Solidum only came to know about this matter after reading an article published in Manila Times last April 10. Remember, I was telling you of the April 10 article that you can please read. And by the way, on April 11, the Philippine Iron and Steel Industry Institute Association, headed by Mr. Cola, as I mentioned his name earlier, said, ISO 9001 kami eh. Sabi ko, ISO 9001? Sabi ko, kahit naginto pa yung sahig nyo, hindi nagbabago yung bakal nyo eh. That doesn't answer my question. 2, sabi niya, in the last 30 years, no buildings have fallen.
Wow. Not yet.
So, my answer to that is, in the last 30 years, there was no big one. Kasi kung tumama na yung big one, ang tawag dito, big two. Ang tawag nila, big one pa lang eh. Kaya dadating pa lang yung big one. Number 3, yung mga sagot nila na walang katorya-torya, na we passed the very stringent, rigid test that the DTI Bureau of Standards imposed on us. Yung nga, ini-impose nila sa sarili nila, ini-impose yung test na papasa sila eh. You know, all these kind of things, the way they answer is like that. And to this day, wala pala silang pinapakitang test up to now. Now, I have a few questions that you might care to ask because maybe they will answer you as they are not answering me. We need to know exactly, and you have to tell me if you agree with my questions or maybe I should not ask those. We need to know exactly how many steel companies are A, manufacturing and selling to the public grade 60 QT-MT bars. B, have indeed replaced microalloy bars with the QT-MT some 10 years ago, leaving us with no choice but to use these QT bars even for high rises. C, at what date did they start manufacturing quench-tempered steel bars? D, have structural engineers, architects, contractors, developers, builders, retailers, and even end users been formally informed about the replacement of MA with the QT bars? And if they have, when did they make the formal announcements to give this information? And F, can they show proof that they have by way of written materials, seminars, conferences, TV and radio ads, and social media? So lahat ito, wala pa sagot. Baka sakali kayo, maswerte na masagot.
Fair enough.
We need the steel companies to certify in writing that A, their QT-TMT grade 60 rebars are grade 60 from the inner core to the outer skin. Their QT-MT rebars can perform adequately under cyclic loading without premature failure. Their grade 60 quench-tempered bars perform exactly like the microalloy bars that they replaced. Kasi when you say we are making an additional line, di ba? Parang meron kang Camry, meron kang Vios. Meron kang another kind.
Apart.
Di ba? But they're not the same. And you tell us anong diferensya. But when you replace, that means you are replacing with the same thing. Why do you call replace? Ba't tinanggal mo yun eh? Pinalitan mo ng bago eh. Dapat sabi mo sa amin, papalitan na namin before you do it. Then, ngayon inauguration ngayon ito yung unang bakal na lumabas sa pabrika. Pakain tayo sa Shangri-La, pakain tayo sa, di ba? Sa Fairmont. Imbitahin mo lahat ng mga arkitekto, inhinyero, lahat para alam nila. Lahat yung mga professor ng engineering, yung mga College of Engineering, Mapua Institute, kung ano-anong of technology, lahat yan, imbitahin mo para pakita mo. Yung mga gumagraduate ngayon, they have no clue about this. They're gonna start designing buildings. The guys who graduated 10 years ago, 8 years, 2 years, last year, they have no clue and they're designing buildings. They don't know. Diba? So, ang tanong ko, can their QT bars be welded, threaded, galvanized, and bended like the microalloy bars without sacrificing their strength in any way? But I want them to put it in writing para meron tayong,
Extra copy.
yes, I'll give this complete set.
Yan lang, yan ang pinabasa.
This all, I'll give it. This is my state, this is the questions that I gave to the DTI because later I'll show you the answers to this. Ridiculous. Have steel manufacturers tested their grade 60 bars to show that they can pass cyclic loading test for seismic zone? 4. How many cycles before the rebars fail? How many cycles before the microalloy bars fail? Are the steel manufacturers aware of the study of Engineer Morales? Did they receive the study on March 18, 2010? Did they challenge the findings and statement made therein at that time? If so, when and which parts were challenged? Dapat sinabi na nila, wala namang alam si Morales, mali yan eh. Wala naman sila sinabi all these years. Ang sagot lang nila is silence. Yun lang ang sagot nila. No talk, no legal action. Kumbaga. Did steel manufacturers conduct tests in the past 10 years for bending, welding, galvanizing, and threading quench steel bars to validate the warnings and prohibitions on the use of quench-tempered steel in the interest of transparency, acceptability, and public safety? In the last 10 years, did the steel manufacturers import billets to manufacture QT rebars? What grade billets did they import? How many tons of grade 40 were imported and how many tons of grade 60 billets? How many tons of grade 40 steel rebars did they manufacture? How many tons of grade 60 did they manufacture? Did the steel manufacturers import finished products of grade 60? Etc. So, when did the Technical Committee 11 become aware of the manufacture of the QT bars as a complete substitute to microalloy bars? When did they become aware of the properties of the QT empty bars? This is the Technical Committee 11 already eh. Ito nagde-decide kung anong policy, anong mga patakaran ang gagawin ng Bureau of Public Product Standards. I prefaced my speech nga that day. I said, yung mga timbangan, kulang lang ng kalahating guhit na headline eh. Yun lang, mali yung expiration date. Di ba? Your expiration date is past. And you are still selling those food products or things. Makukulong ka eh.
Yeah, criminal offense.
Di ba? Ito pa kaya, nabuhay ng tao, and not only the buyer. Kasi pwede nagwawalis ka, Metro 8 ka nagwawalis dun sa bangketa. Pwede kang tamaan eh. Na-stuck ka lang sa traffic, na doon ka sa Araneta Avenue, lumuhod ngayon yung mga connector skyway post. Now, to the government, if one connector post collapses or breaks, maybe not collapse, nahati sa gumanyan, anong gagawin mo doon sa 1,000 ibang poste made of the same material na hindi pa nag-collapse? Yung isa, kumulaps na eh. Anong gagawin mo doon sa 1,000 others? Are you going to replace them even if they have not collapsed? Are you going to wait for them to collapse to kill more people? And you will replace one by one as they collapse? Because when that post collapses, the skyway on top of it will also fall. When that falls, you cannot just jack it up and connect it again and tuloy ang ligaya. Sige, dumaan na kayo, mga container kayo. Now, do you need to wait for an earthquake before that will collapse? Why? Araw-araw, container ang dumadaan dyan eh. Yung yanig lang ng container, every 2 seconds, may dumadaan na kotse, container, garbage truck, lahat yan. Merong shaking na nangyayari, may vibration yan eh.
Yung dito lang sa Pampanga,
No, you should. No. You should see those posts of mabibigat yun eh. It's not only the height. I'm not only talking of the height. It's also the load that is carrying the load. Eh pag the roads are carrying, halimbawa, yung lumalampas lang yung kotse, di ba? Iba yan. Eh kung na-traffic ka na 3 minutes, hindi ka umaandar, nakaganyan, yung load nun,
Bawal na magkambyo doon eh. Sa bridges.
Siguro, compare mo doon sa 6.5, tumali sa akin ng 9.1. Sabi mo, buong kaya, sumali.
yeah.
You can compare.
Even Taiwan, 6.2.
6.5 or even less. Mga kumalabog itong mga ano na ito.
Indonesia.
Genoa.
In Genoa, yeah, the other day.
Ang pagkakalat ko kasi ngayon, ang mga heavily loaded trucks are not allowed to take the
Overpass? You cannot say that they won't.
Pag nagmamadali na, wala nang ano eh.
matter of implementation.
Hindi, mga container sumasampa dun sa Roas Boulevard ng tumatawid ng Buendia.
Mga 40-footed ko nung container yan. At saka yung grabe
Eh,
stand.
yung container nga, hindi nga nakabolt sa container bed. Nadadaganan pa yung tao eh.
Nahulog.
It's a good cause.
Ang tanong ko nga my major tanong is,
Why they are so quiet about this?
why me? Bakit ako ang pinili nyo na makaalam nito? Bakit ako? Pwede ba humarap na lang kay iba? Bakit ako?
Relation with Morales. Wala.
Nothing. I don't know. I met him only because they were giving me his study. So, they introduced, I said, sino ba ito si Morales? Eh, binigyan ako ganyang kakapal na biodata. Wow. Oh, believe ako sa kanya. Naniniwala ako sa kanya. So, I'm willing, in the forum last time there in Radisson, in Park Hotel, Morales was right next to me.
Hindi mo tinanong, ba't sa'yo binigay?
Ay, hindi naman siya nagbigay sa akin eh. Binigay lang, yes, nabigay lang, parang,
Just for the record, kasi ito pinag-uusapan natin, sensitive to in terms of honor.
yes.
Ang pwedeng question dito, the integrity of people who don't want to observe the law. In your case, if I may ask the question, meron ka bang interest that will be benefited by your advocacy now?
None.
Just for the record.
Yeah, none.
Yun lang. Para people cannot accuse you of you doing this, you saying this, because...
Dapat nga, siguro ngayon ko lang naisip eh. Dapat nag-import ako ng maraming bakal, pero to import maraming bakal, kailangan mo how many billion pesos?
So, ayun.
Hindi naman ibibigay na utang yan, parang chichirya.
So, wala kang gano'n. Wala kang conflict of interest.
Only
Wala.
public interest.
Oh, kaya nga.
Yeah.
Public interest.
I think there are two new developments in the case since our meeting last May. First, that you study what you cited is very, very specific. So we have to have which agency conducted the study because it boosts the scientific findings of Engineer Morales. The second is the study of Portugal.
That was already there in your folder. No, this is
Ano ang kung hindi pa lumabas dyan? Ano? Hindi pa lumabas.
itong Taiwan. Kasi itong Taiwan, ang date nito may
Itong mga dokumentong yan.
walang lumalabas nga halos eh. Yun lang sinusulat nila.
Bigyan mo sa akin.
Now, the thing is, the Taipei, this was already May 25.
Pinaka-congruent yung Taipei.
Okay. Taipei, this is the Taipei ban on the manufacture of QT rebars in Taiwan. Okay. Now,
Sinasukliya sa Congress.
binigay ko po sa few congressmen.
Wala naman nangyari yun eh.
But maybe they're doing the budget now. Like I said, I don't wanna be judgmental, in accusing them of walang ginagawa. But they're doing the budget and whatever. So Morales wrote on May 2 to the Taiwan office. And he's asking, in this connection, I'm writing through your office to inquire formally whether the type of rebars, QTMT, has already been banned in Taiwan, as we have received unofficial reports that the government of the Republic of China, Taipei, has indeed banned its use for tall buildings. So ang sagot ng Taiwan, very simple. Ito. Nakalagay dito. In reference to your letter, under the subject use of quench-tempered or temp-core steel bars for seismic zone 4, we're forwarding the following response from the Construction and Planning Agency Ministry of Interior of Taiwan. According to Chapter 15 of the Design Specifications for Concrete Structures, the reinforcing bars of the boundary elements of structural walls and frameworks set to endure the force of earthquakes should comply with national standards of the Republic of China, CNS 420W and 280W of the CNS 560. That's their statute. Parang kanina, New Zealand something, right? the CNS 560, 2018 A2006. That is, the National Standard of Bars for Concrete Reinforcement instructs as follows. Quote, steel bars should be hot-rolled through open hearth, oxy-fuel, or electric furnace. It should not, yung not niya in capital letters, not, be cooled through the inline heat treatment before the end of the rolling process. So, Morales put a note here, cooled through inline heat treatment before the end of the rolling process refers to the quench-tempered process for QT empty rebars manufacturing. Because this was in Chinese. This was not in English. It was just translated from the... Yung original papel nito na Naki Morales is all in Chinese, not in English. So I will give you a copy of this. Now, the DTI...
After a building collapsed there,
yeah, we wrote because of the collapse of the building. Lumuhod yung mga building, nakita nyo sa TV, di ba? Ganyan na yung mga building nila.
Oo pa yung building, but
Pero,
they...
nahulog.
Nahulog.
pero
Because of the foundation.
Hindi namin sa mga buildings na to.
Hindi namin tinanong yun eh. Tinatanong lang namin kung... Kasi, sa akin, very simple. Kung QT yon, alam mo, tutumba. Kung hindi QT yon at tumumba, can you imagine kung QT yon?
Parang implied doon sa letter sa prohibition na use of
Yeah. No. They are prohibiting the manufacture of QT. Which means, wag mo nang gamitin. Unless gusto mo mag-import ka pa sa India o kung saan ka pa mag-i-import ng QT. Sa Pilipinas, mag-import ka sa Pilipinas ng QT para gamitin mo sa Taiwan. It's crazy, di ba? So, they are just saying, dito nga sa amin, bawal yung manufacturing. Okay. Now, the DTI, May 11 yung aming conference. By May 25, may sagot na sila. Based on the Technical Committee on Long Steel, or DTI BPS TC11. Remember I was talking about the TC11 kanina? The composition, the chairman is Wellington Tong. Right? That's the TC11. Meetings, various consultation meetings spearheaded by Undersecretary Ruth Castello, and the Steel Forum conducted on May 11, I was present. The previous meetings, I was not. Only this. May 11, with Secretary Ramon Lopez, the following discussions were made. This paper this meeting was spearheaded by Undersecretary Ruth Castello. Undersecretary Ruth Castello is the Undersecretary in charge of Consumer Protection. Earlier, I mentioned to you that the first radio interview I had was with Henry Omaga Diaz on DCMM on a Saturday afternoon, 5 o'clock, sometime like that, his program, where I was mentioning all of these things I was mentioning to you. So he called Ruth Castello, Yusek, to ask her, ito bang quench-tempered steel pwede magamit pang high-rise? 3 times, I think she answered in that program by phone. Yang quench-tempered steel, hindi pwede gamitin sa high-rise. Sabi ko, Yusek, pakiulit lang, baka hindi kayo naririnig ng mga ibang taga-DTI. Kasi sabi nila, hindi pwedeng gamitin. So, ang statement ng DTI, hindi pwedeng gamitin before. That was maybe March. Before Holy Week yata yan eh. This year. Henry Omaga Diaz's show. And it never was taken up by any other radio station or program until way after. From that March program, the next one maybe last month by Mr. Chavez, Cesar Chavez of DCRH. Okay. It's very easy for me to memorize it kasi kukunti lang naman yan. Kung hindi ko pa ma-memorize yung mga stations na pinagsalitaan ko, anong namang klase, di ba? Okay. Microalloy steel bars. This is from the DTI report. By the way, this report was from Engineer James Empeño, Director of Bureau of Philippine Standards. Through Undersecretary, Consumer Protection Group, Attorney Ruth Castelo. 4, Secretary Ramon Lopez. So 1 signature, 2 signatures. Now, there is a margin note. Okay for use as basis of response to issues raised. The Secretary signs it. So I am taking it for granted, this is his response to my issues raised. I have 5 pages of issues here. 5. In single space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So this is now the response. The first paragraph, microalloyed steel bars. Microalloyed rebars are made from billets having microalloying elements like vanadium, niobium, titanium, molybdenum, and other rare earth metals that enable the rebar to achieve the desired strengths. Okay? In other words, these rebars essentially come from billets already equipped with the desired strength before they are rolled as rebars. And they added 1 sentence. What is that sentence? The microalloy rebars also have restrictions on use. Kasi ang sinasabi natin, yung quench-tempered bars may restriction. So sinulat-sulat nila na yung microalloy, matigas na kasi yung raw material matigas, uy, may restriction din sila. Yan o nakalagay. The MA rebars also have restrictions on use. But they do not say what are the restrictions. We said what the restrictions are on quench-tempered. And we said, or Morales said in his study, yung microalloy, ito kaya niyang i-take. Ito, hindi. Ito naman, sinabi lang niya, para lang masabi na, pareho lang yan. Para lang masabing pareho lang. Di ba? Ang tingin naman nila sa amin, bobo eh. Okay. So, ang tanong namin, what restrictions ba are there dun sa microalloy?
Basta may restrictions.
Basta meron. Okay? Now, quench-tempered. Ito ang pinakamasaya.
Basta.
Oh, basta. Correct. Quench-tempered and thermomechanically treated steel bars. Yun ang title niya dito. Quench-tempered and thermomechanically treated steel reinforcement bars take the name after the process of production where quenching and tempering are done to achieve toughness, ductility, and strength higher than the raw material or the billets. So, ina-admit nila yon ha? Ina-admit na nila, higher than the billets. May ibig sabihin, yung billets namin mahina. Binubugahan lang namin ng quench, para tumigas. Di ba? Okay. Dito pa, QTMT rebars rely on the process to increase the strength of the final product. It is a common practice used in the manufacture of steel components. Ito na. This one talaga. Deadly. The quenching and tempering process in producing reinforcement steel bars for concrete have long been established. Originating from Belgium, na walang earthquake doon, in 1972. Originating from Belgium in 1972, this technology has been practiced worldwide for the last 30 years and remains very popular in over 190 countries until today. 190. Okay? Ang iniisip ko naman, sino ba si 190? Sabihin naman sa amin, huwag mo yung sikreto naman. Ang tanong namin, how many of these 190 countries are in seismic zone 4? Is Taiwan among those countries or is Taiwan a country?
Generic.
Is Japan among those countries? Is Japan a country? Is New Zealand, Australia, Portugal, and Italy among those countries? Because Taiwan, sabi mo hindi pa country ang Taiwan, consider na natin country. Taiwan, Japan, New Zealand, Philippines, Australia, Portugal, and Italy. Baka naman there are 197 countries.
Kasama pa Chile dyan.
Hindi natin alam, di ba? Ano ba yan? Sasabi, ano ba yan? Okay, now, Why did Taiwan ban the manufacture? And why is Japan not using quenched tempered steel? The Bureau of Philippine Standards should have investigated the reasons why these countries are not using it. Rather than telling us, teka muna, okay gamitin sa Pilipinas yan kasi 190 countries gumagamit yan eh.
Pero Japan definitely is not using it.
Enough.
Napaka-
Now, the other question is, if you are talking, give me a country, for example, like Germany. Germany is not a seismic 4 country. Seismic zone 4 country. Number 1. Number 2, when Germany constructs high-rise buildings, are they using Steel Asia or Pag-asa? Maybe. I don't know. I'm asking. Now, are the steel bars that are used by Germany in making their skyscrapers using billets of grade 60 with vanadium? Then the process is quench tempering. It might be grade 70, grade 65, grade 80, but at least it started from grade 60. Di ba? Grade 60, binebenta mo ng grade 60 kahit ano pa siya after quenching. Hindi yung grade, wala na ng vanadium yung kung anong grade man yon, tapos tumibay lang yung balat, eto na. Issues or concerns raised. Hindi ko alam kung anong klaseng report itong ganitong. Ito ba government report ganitong itsura? Na
Makasagot lang.
Ha?
Makasagot lang.
Ito sinagot nila sa media eh.
Kaya lang, yan ang sabi ko nga, ang kwento dyan, nagsumagot sila na makasagot lang.
Oh, yun. Ngayon, issues or concerns raised. Dapat yata yung issues or concerns raised nasa harap eh. Di ba? Anyway, ang issue niya daw, 1, whether or not the public was never informed about the use of QTMT rebars. 2, the Technical Committee on Long Steel, TC11, is chaired by a known manufacturer of steel, hence it is not impartial. 3, huh?
Yun ang something criminatory, di ba? You were saying yun ang pangalan nun?
Hence it's not
Wellington?
whether or not QTMT rebars are currently available in the market. Cyclic loading issue, and whether or not the use of QT bars for high-rise buildings is not safe, as the process of butt welding, threading, hot bending, galvanizing, and heating of QT bars can result in damage to property or even lives if not addressed. Yun lang daw ang issues dito. Hindi. Eh, paano yung issue ng kukulay-kulayan mo lang yung bakal? Ang dami pa akong issue dito. Kailan ginawa, etc. Ang dami pang issue, pero yun lang daw ang 5 tinatanong. Yun lang, wala na. Yun lang. Okay. Ito. DOST MIRDC findings on quench tempered steel bars. I read to you earlier, di ba? Sinasabi ng MIRDC ay welded portion, magbe-break. A study was conducted by the MIRDC through funding of the DOST, blah, 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 etc. The study was published. The results show that the rebar processed through the quench-tempered and thermomechanical treatment passed all the clerical, physical, and mechanical requirements.
Clerical.
Hindi nga, chemical, physical and mechanical requirements. Sinasabi na nga dun sa study na pinakita na kanina, nakalagay na nga dun at welded portion, bale eh. Di ba? Okay. Ngayon, ang tanong, more than anything, the MIRDC highlights that the QT rebars are not complying with standards in the majority of the tested specimens.
Sinabi na nila.
Sinasabi ni Morales ito. Sinasagot ni Morales yung kanilang sinasabi. Sinasabi nila, hindi, sinasabi ng MIRDC, pasado sila. Ha? Anong test yun? Anong study yun? Eh, para isa lang naman yung ginawa ng MIRDC eh. We're quoting the same study and he's saying that they all passed. MIRDC is saying they failed. That's why that figure 6 shows it clearly. Okay. Sinasabi pa dito, QTMT bars, ito, are a microstructure composed of a perlite core and a tempered martensite layer. It was clarified in the Steel Forum with Secretary Lopez that though the microstructure is as described due to the quenching and tempering process, the mechanical properties of the rebar is the same throughout its length and is not a composite material. Hindi ko sinasabi yung length. Yung length the same. Kasi kinwench nila yung length. Ang sinasabi ko, hati mo yung loob at yung labas, hindi length. Sabi nila yung length daw pareho eh. Hindi ko naman sinasabi hindi pareho length.
There was no question there, no? You're questioning the strength.
No, I'm questioning that the outer skin and the inner core are not one and the same material. Because as he already said in the first paragraph, that the quench tempered, yung material sa loob is lower grade than the outer skin. And yung microalloy, yung raw material is already strengthened with vanadium and other alloys, so the steel bar produced is the same inside and out. So now he's saying, there's this guy is saying na it's the same throughout the length. Hindi length pinag-uusapan, yung loob at yung labas. Siyempre yung labas pare-pareho yan. Di ba? Okay, meron pa. Ngayon, ito pa. This was confirmed by metallurgical expert that QTMT steel bars are monolithic and undifferentiated steel bars without any layer or covering, brittle or otherwise. Hence, safe for use for vertical or horizontal construction following certain restrictions. Pero wala silang pinapakitang test. Safe na lang. Sabi ng DTI, sabi nitong Bureau of Products, safe yan, boss. Okay? Teka muna. So, ang sinasabi natin, this is not correct because the QT bars are layered. Ito nga, ganito, Layered. Yan, layered, bilog. Itong sa loob at itong sa labas. Pero, hindi naman siya mukhang saging na pwede mong balatan. Yun lang yung microstructure, microscopic. Yan, hindi yan parang naka-Amerikana maghuhubad. Okay. Ngayon, the MIRDC study reported that ordinary welding electrodes cannot be used and that the test results indicate very low TSYS ratio and low elongation that are below standards. Kanina, binasa ko na yung test na may columns, di ba? Ito. Yan. Sinasabi, TSYS ratio. Okay, balik tayo. TSYS ratio ng Steel Asia, 16 mm. 1.32 before threading. After threading, 1.16. 1.6. Ang minimum niya is 1.25. Kaya yung 1.16 ay kulang dun sa minimum requirement na 1.25. So, wag niyo akong binabaloni dito kasi ito, sagot na ganito, galing sa steel manufacturer yan. Ako, yung sinasagot ko, galing kay Morales. Yun lang naman yun eh. Diba? Okay, now. So, meron pa silang, ito pa, this really takes the cake. Part of the study conducted by the DTI BPS was the conduct of visits to steel rolling plants producing QTMT rebars, where our team observed that the dissected QTMT rebar is rigid and does not peel as layers. I never said they peeled as layers. Morales is not saying they're peeling like a banana like that. Babalatan mo yung banana. Buo pa yan. Kaya lang, yung outer skin, nakayod mo na, na-weld mo na. Kaya ang bali lumalabas, yun lang nasa loob na mas mahinang klase. So, meanwhile yan, punta yung team. Tingnan ko nga yan. Tingnan ko nga yung bakal. Hiwain mo yan. Pak. Hindi naman pala para saging eh. Ano ba yan? Ganyan ba kayo mag-test? Para sabihin mo, gumastos ang developer ng 1 billion para gumawa ng building, para sabihin mo, kita mo, punta kami doon, hindi naman pala mukhang turon yung nandun. This is the Department of Trade and Industry. Buti sana kung ginawa lang ito ng Kangkungan High School Squad. Okay. So ito. As to the claim that no information was made available on rebars made through the QT process, PNS 49, scope and application clearly states, These standards specify the requirement of deformed steel bars for concrete reinforcement. It applies to steel bars manufactured from prime billets or ingots supplied as rolled and hot rolled with subsequent quenching and self-tempering among others. This claim is against the steel manufacturers, not PNS 49, who did not inform the public that they replaced MA with QT. Ang sinasabi nila, yung PNS 49 nag-inform. Hindi naman namin sinasabi na yung PNS 49 hindi nag-i-inform. Yung steel manufacturers hindi nag-inform. Hindi naman nila sinabi dito, the steel manufacturers inform. Mali ka eh. The steel manufacturers inform. Hindi. Sinasabi nila, as to the claim that no information was made available on rebars made by the quench tempering process, the PNS 49, etc. says so. Okay. But we want the word from the steel manufacturers.
There was no such thing.
No such animal. They cannot produce it. That's why they are saying, dinadivert nila na, sinabi naman sa PNS 49 eh. Hindi naman sino didemanda namin sa PNS 49? Eh gumagawa dun yung TC11. Eh di steel manufactured.
Hinug na hinug nito.
Ito pa.
Hinug na yan sa kaso. Even the documents are saying so, may vision.
The technical committee, ito sinasabi niya, yung technical committee daw is represented by the academe, professionals, etc., construction, has recently signified for membership. The consumer sector is now represented. Each sector has one vote, even if several members come from the same industry. Manufacturers refuted the claim that they have abandoned the production of microalloy and that the users are deprived of choice, as they have consistently stated that both MA and QT are available for production, but lead time is needed for MA steel since alloys used to strengthen rebars need to be imported. They produce microalloy rebars on a per-order basis. They completely replaced it. That's why now they're not producing it. If you want, they will make it. But they have already replaced it. That does not answer our question. Our contention is, they replaced it. Now, sinasabi nila, hindi kung o-order ka. Kung o-order ka, gaano kadami kailangan order mo? Kailangan 40-story building? Paano kung ako 30 lang, o 20 lang, o 10 lang? O gusto ko lang sa bungalow ko, microalloy? Wala ako mabibili. Hindi mo gagawin eh. Mano bang gumawa ka, kung talagang honest ka, sabi mo, ito pang high-rise, ito pang low-rise. Disente kang kausap. Hindi ka garapal. Diba? Hindi mo inalis. At saka hindi mo ni-replace. Okay? Sinasabi nila na yung on butt welding used in construction. We never said butt welding. There are many different kinds of welding. Ang butt welding sinasabi, isang bakal, i-welding mo sa isang bakal. Hindi ko sinabi yung butt welding. Ang sinasabi namin, welding of any sort. Kasi, pag na-welding kayo, mukha ito galing sa website ng Steel Asia. Sabi nila, hindi raw nagte-trading. Bakit kayo nagbebenta ng couplers kung hindi kayo nagte-trading? Anong gagawin nyo sa couplers? Gagawin yung kwintas? Nagte-trading kayo, yan kinakayod yung trading. Sabi, hindi raw nagbe-bending. Ito, binibend mo yung bakal na 180 degrees eh. This comes from the Steel Asia website. Ayan ang ginagawa. Ito, umikot na yung, ito na
What happens if they bend it?
Iinitin mo eh. So, ang lalabas, yung nasa loob na eh, mas mahina nga yung loob eh. Kahit hindi siya mapuputol muna. Subukan mo i-cyclic loading, ilagay mo ngayon sa ganyan. Ilagay mo ngayon sa intensity 7. Di ba? Meron pa nga akong isang litrato na nakunan dyan sa likod ng, pwede niyong pasyalan eh. Sa likod ng, I'll show you later, sa likod ng post office. Nagka-traffic sa Liwasang Bonifacio, doon kami pinadaan sa likod ng post office. Makikita mo, ganito, mga 6 or 4 na ganito. Steel bars na bilog na, no? Yan. Nasa gilid, okay. Nasa gilid yon. Papunta ron, correct. Nasa gilid ng Pasig River na embankment. Naka-expose, puro kalawang. Kung yung outer skin, kinain na ng kalawang, nakalagay doon, bridge repair. Nakatama, may karatula?
Temporary.
No. Nakalagay doon, bridge repair. Tapos nakalagay ng trapal na kulay blue. Pero, exposed siya. I'll show you the picture. I took it with my camera. I show you the picture. So, nationwide, Batanes to Tawi-Tawi, naka-expose ang bakal sa lahat ng job site eh. Sa lahat ng DPWH site eh.
Tabi ko ng possibility.
Oh, exactly. I cannot lie to you because when you go, you have to, how can I, if I lie one lie, I'm dead. Okay? So, this is what I'm saying. Now, but, or, ang sinasabi nila butt welding daw. Hindi raw sila gumagawa ng butt welding. Hindi, sinasabi namin welding lang, hindi specific sa butt welding. Sinasabi natin welding na iba't ibang klaseng pagwe-weld. Ang dami-daming klaseng...
Ang tawag doon, white lie. Huli sa bibig.
Acceptable yun.
Lying just the same.
Yung white lie is acceptable yun.
Oh. By white lying, they think they're not lying.
So makikita mo yung comments dito, no? Ang sinasabi ni Engineer Morales, welding temp is not an issue, but the actual welding itself,
Sinagot na pala ni Engineer
which
Morales.
more or less lang, pero meron siyang formal sagot, hindi ko lang nadala. Beyond the temperature, the thin martensite is distempered. Diba? Ito pa. Cyclic loading is not specified in PNS 49. Yung earthquake test. Hindi raw specified. Hindi nga specified kasi magfe-fail yan eh. Sila nga gumagawa nun, hindi ba? Yung specification. Okay. Cyclic loading is not specified in PNS 49 because it is not a test method for steel bars. It is a test method to determine the behavior of steel reinforced recycled concrete where steel is embedded in concrete and in such manner that two materials act together in resisting force. But as TC11 Mr. Tong said, cyclic loading is not found in our steel standards. So, hindi naman sinespecify ng Bureau of Product Standards na mag-cyclic loading test tayo eh. At saka yung cyclic loading, hindi naman steel bars ang tinetest. Ang sa cyclic loading, tinetest, yung steel bar nasa loob ng konkreto. Di ba? Eh, syempre, hindi mo naman tinatayo yung building na walang konkreto eh. Since tinatayo mo yung building, steel bars, nasa loob ng konkreto, edi yun na itest mo, magkasama sila. Pinipilosopo nga pa, ikot-ikot nga itong kangkungan na to eh. Eto pa, excuse na nila to. Just because cyclic loading is not found in our steel standards, but it does not mean that attention is not given to it. Okay, so what is the attention that you are giving to cyclic loading? If you are not testing, you are not giving attention. Because you cannot test cyclic loading by feeling, touching, smelling, seeing. Didilaan mo ba yon? Cyclic loading can only be tested if you physically move the room where the concrete and the steel bars are standing there together. And that is what Morales is saying. In the cyclic loading test, in the proper test, failed sila. Yung steel bars na quench tempered. Talaga. Kaya sabi ko, nakakahiya at nakakadiri. Ngayon, ito pa. The DOST MIRDC does not have the necessary facility to conduct the test. But further research on availability is being conducted for future test. Ano sagot yun? Baka kaya nyo English, Tagalog, English, Tagalog, German, Russian, maiintindihan ba ito? Ha? DOST, MRDC, does not have the necessary facility. Oh, mahirap ang gobyerno. Hindi naman babagsak ang gobyerno. 200 bilyon ng negosyo nyo. Hindi kayo makapagtayo ng kwarto, ganito kalaki, para magpates. Sisisihin mo yung MIRDC at DOST, walang testing facility, kaya hindi mo matest kung may earthquake na 7.2 at bumagsak yan sa mga tao. Kung tutuusin ito, lumalabas, barya lang yung dengue-baksya eh. Kasi sa dengue-baksya, kung 800,000 ng taong binakunahan ninyo, dun lang manggagaling ang mamamatay sa 800,000. Yung nabakunahan, hindi pwede mamatay yung pinsan niya. Yung nabakunahan, hindi pwede mamatay yung amo niya, yung houseboy niya, yung security guard niya, yung nag-deliver ng pizza. Hindi kasali yan sa patay.
Si aso ba?
Aso, hindi kasali. Pero dito, wala kang kamuwang-muwang sa high-rise o kung ano man. Naghihintay ka lang ng tricycle dahil papasok ka sa opisina or sa
Mga
trabaho.
collateral damages.
Okay. Ito pa. Structures are built through the use of several materials. Buildings are made of a big part by concrete. Concrete is a composite material comprised of coarse and fine aggregates bonded by cement and water. If it possesses high compressive strength, but it is in need of reinforcement to increase its yield strength.
Sinong signatory niyan, Senador? Nung report na yun?
Engineer James Empeño, Director ng Bureau of Philippine Standards. Binigay niya kay Ruth Castelo, Undersecretary for Consumer Protection. At binigay kay Secretary Ramon Lopez. At sinabi naman ni Ramon Lopez, okay to use as basis.
Pagbuhol-buholin yung tatlo na yan.
Now, ito pa, sinabi pa dito. Kailangan daw yung materials, yung konkreto, di ba? The reinforced concrete together with all materials contribute to ensure that the structure serve its purpose with safety as main design consideration. Thus, it is not the steel alone that will guarantee the soundness and resiliency of a structure. Excuse. Sinasabi nila, teka muna, yung konkreto nga mas marami kaysa bakal eh. So, hindi naman kami bakal lang ang dapat i-take into consideration. Paano yung halo ng konkreto? May daya or may sira or may... Siya paano siya? Di ba? Ngayon, ito pa. In the construction of high-rise buildings, the expertise of a team of professionals from the designers to the contractors with technical competencies employed by the developer to design, specify processes and specifications, execute and build, guided by the responsibility to ensure and prioritize safety above all. Teka muna. Bakit expertise of team of professionals? Hindi nyo sinabihan yung expertise ng team of ng experts and team of professionals, yung manufacturer ang nagpo-produce ng bakal na palpak. Ngayon, sisisihin mo developer. Para pag nagkadimandahan, hindi kayo kasali. Kukulong nyo yung engineer at yung architect at yung team of professional. Ano ba yan?
Tawag dyan, hugas kamay.
Okay.
Poncio Pilato.
Galing na.
Ito pa. Engineers, itong sagot nila itong tanong ko, 5 pahina, itong sinasagot nila. Okay. Engineers, particularly structural and design engineers, as well as construction practitioners are professionals who obtain their license to practice from the PRC, Professional Regulation Commission. They do not compromise their careers as to prescribe or use unsafe construction materials so that they strictly comply with the provisions of the National Structural Code of the Philippines.
Motherhood is
Wait a minute. The National Structural Code of the Philippines prohibits nga the welding, bending, galvanized, threading. Ito nga, hindi nga kino-comply.
Natatanda mo ba yung COVID ni Benton sa kanil pugulong araw? May standard line doon eh. Nasa nonsense.
Well, yan, ano pa nalala ko yan? Ito pa.
Nasa nonsense.
Similarly, the DPWH, BRS, continues to allow the use of QTMT following the restrictions of the NSCP. Ang tanong ni Morales, how can the infrastructure like bridges, skyways, and ports be built without welding, heat bending, threading, or exposure to corrosion? Ayun nga sinasabi ko sa iyo yung doon sa gilid ng Pasig River. Ito na nga ang sinasabi nila. Meron tayong ganito Yung mga engineer sumusunod dito sinasabi nga dito, bawal ang welding Di ba? So yung sagot nila, wala na parang naging naging samot-saring
Evasive ang
Ayaw nga sumagot.
Ito pa.
Sagot lang.
The resilience of a structure to earthquakes and other natural phenomenon, whether horizontal or vertical, are affected by several factors.
Nag-lecture.
Location, soil quality, land use practices, foundation, distance from the fault line, materials, application of earthquake-resistant building codes and practices, the size of the structure, design, execution, among others. All these are considered to mitigate the effect of earthquakes. The nature of the earthquake also has an effect, as the earthquake behavior can vary. Amen to this. Okay. But it is the QT bar that is the weakest link that can cause the premature failure. It is the QT bar that is the weakest link. Kasi kung sa mo i-winelding, puk, yun ang pinakamahinang parte. Diba? Okay. Ito pa. Sinasabi nila, the national code is here for them to follow, di ba? Ang tanong ni Morales, yes, and that is why the NCSP 2015, ito yon, 2015, contains prohibitions which is being ignored by the Bureau of Product Standards. Sinasabi na dito, bawal nga yung welding eh.
Well, what is your next step?
Teka muna, ito pa, meron siyang maganda. Sinasabi nila na ito, yung marking ng Marco Island. This marking provision will be reflected in the revised version of PNS 49, where marking for MA rebars is likewise proposed. All efforts shall gear towards arriving at a sound marking scheme for steel bars that will be useful for consumers for appropriate information on steel guides that relates to strength. Pero,
Freudian slip sila doon.
pero,
Word scheme. Marking scheme.
tapos,
That's a Freudian slip.
ang isa dito, hindi nila sinasabi, kailan? Kailan mo aalisin yung color code? 2019, 20, 29, 39, 49, 59, year 2000 what? Wala sinabi dito. The department, in partnership with concerned organizations and government agencies, shall endeavor for a bigger information and education campaign on steel bars, highlighting different types, applications, and qualified use to all stakeholders and consumers and practitioners alike. Moving forward, DOST MIRDC will be conducting new sets of tests and research to verify some of the restrictions as provided in the National Structural Code of the Philippines, where DTI BPS will witness the conduct of testing. We're saying we as stakeholders should also be present in such tests. Eh kung nahawsawa na naman yung test nila. In the first place, they have not shown any tests from May 25, 2018 to March 2010.
They're
Wala.
saying, in the future,
We will conduct tests in the future.
They should have done that.
Pero yung mga tinayo nyo na building na walang test, problema nyo na yan. So yan ang kanilang sagot.
Classic yan, ha?
Yan.
Sabi nga ni Mang Nano, basta.
So at ako, meron akong naging press con, kinuwot ko dito yung text na nanggaling sa cellphone ko. At sinabi ko kasi dito there is an elephant in the room. Sa Max Fried Chicken, nandun si... There is an elephant in the room which I want to address immediately. Information has reached me that the DTI BPS, together with the steel manufacturers, together with the steel manufacturers I have exposed, are drumming up an expose against me. I am supposedly funded by steel importers to wage this campaign against local giant steel manufacturers for their totally replacing the microalloy bars with quench-tempered steel bars without informing the public since 10 years ago or so, among other things. 1. I am not funded by steel importers or anyone else to embark on this campaign. No less than DTI Secretary Lopez has insinuated that my accusations have been debunked. And even if I have lost, I continue to make noise because I just want to expose what's not there. And he also stated that I have an agenda and plan to run in the next elections. A text he sent out reads as follows. Yun yung text na pinadala niya kay. Ha ha.
kay
Pero
Secretary
San-
Lozano.
She's really going around. In fact, I had to meet her also to hear the complaints. So we called several consultations of stakeholders.
You which?
Hindi ako kasali doon. They did not invite me. Called a big forum with them and all stakeholders. Kasali na kami doon. And called technical experts sa mga metallurgical engineers na debunk her accusations. I read to you the DTI report. What accusations have been debunked? Nothing. It only opened to more questions. Na debunk her accusations. That's a lie. And DTI simply listened and issued a ruling. A matter of billions, trillions of pesos, millions of lives could possibly lost, billions and trillions of investments, rehabilitation costs, clearing efforts, and you only simply listened, the DTI simply listened and issued a ruling. That's from the text of the secretary. When she lost, talo daw ako. Ano to? Pula-puti? When she lost, she's continuing to make noise.
Because you're running for public office.
Some say she wants to expose and expose what's not there. May agenda. Plano siguro tumakbo. The tests are there. Each developer conducts their tests too upon delivery at project site, aside from BPS certifications. They can talk to the BPS, the manufacturers, and the developers for the test results. Will they use these still if they fail? Ha? Sa job site lang kayo nagtetest? Ano ba alam ng mga tao sa job site? Yung ba katulad ng laboratorio na tinetest yung bakal? Ba't wala kayo may pakitang test? Ba't ako pa pupuntahin nyo sa lahat ng developer? Ako pa pupuntahin nyo sa lahat ng steel manufacturer? Samantalang nandyan na ako sa DTI? Kayo ang dapat humingi ng test, isubmit sa inyo kasi kayo ang regulatory.
Sa job.
Kahit na ganitong press release lang, baka dapat ombudsman na humabo sa kanila. Ba't ako maghahanap pa ng abogado? Magbabayad pa ako ng abogado para mag-ombudsman sa kanila? Diba?
Lumabas na ba yan?
Ibinigay ko ito June 21, wala pa. Kayo pa lang ang maglalabas nito. Hindi pa lumalabas.
Nandito.
Andyan yan, lahat nandito. The whole crusade started when I was given a copy of the study done by engineer Emilio Morales. After having discussed the matter extensively with him, I was given irrefutable proof that quench steel manufactured by local Philippine manufacturers proved to be dangerous and unsafe in the event of a high-intensity earthquake as we are located in seismic zone 4. I am a consumer. I am a private citizen. If I ask for proof, those steel manufacturers concerned and the DTI BPS are obliged to share with the general public every available proof to support their claims, which are not according to international studies, tests, and legislation that are in my possession. In the first place, the effect could be millions of lives lost and trillions in investments lost and rehabilitation costs, loss of confidence in our economy, and even perhaps even in the leadership of our country if there is failure to address this clear and present danger posed by the use of QTMT rebars that the steel manufacturers stealthily hid from us. I am no match against the well-oiled machinery, the finances of the large steel manufacturers who allegedly earn more than 1 billion pesos a month producing these QTMT rebars. This will fuel the production of fancy ads for television and media, which all of a sudden have surfaced after almost 10 years, instead of replying to my very simple, basic, critical questions, easily answered by a simple yes or no. This they have not done to this day. The National Structural Code of the Philippines 2015 is obviously being ignored and violated. It is important that the congressional probe of both houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives, be sought and undertaken to ensure that no stone is left unturned. An independent, respectable, impartial foreign body must be commissioned to test these grade 60 locally manufactured steel bars. If they are indeed grade 60 from inner core to outer skin, while all these have not been undertaken, there must be a moratorium on the use of QT bars in high-rise and critical structures of President Duterte's Build, Build, Build program until formal studies and test results on the effects of welding, bending, threading, galvanizing, rusting, and the very important cyclic loading test results be made public. I am sure most of you have received this QTMT rebars technical information and the questions I have been asking for months, which they have skillfully avoided. If you have not, I am more than willing to give you a complete set now. I mean, this was my...
Justifies your audience to the president.
And maybe you can say that in your comentario. I have a few other press statements. One is Steel Secrets, and another one that's called Russian Roulette.
Naka-attach yan dyan.
Andyan lahat yan. Wala akong sinisikreto.
Thank you, thank you.
So I thank you all for this opportunity because this is a very, very rare opportunity and I really greatly appreciate your interest and your being part of this crusade. I cannot do it. My shoulders are not strong enough to carry the burden of steel failure in our country because lives of people, including mine, we don't know, may be on the line. So this is the brother Eddie Villanueva. Engineer Morales was here in this TV program, beside me. This is one set. Did you want another set? You have already set.
I want another.
This is one set. Did you?
We'll let the other two to the officer. I had the...
Well, you just decide what to do. Here, I give to you.
Sige.
But because they can do it on USB, but you know,
We have
I don't
that.
know
We
how
have
to
that
do it.
already.
I have no use for a USB because I don't know how to
I
use
give
it.
the secretary already, ma'am. We have it.
Okay.
Sir. Yes, sir. USB na, sir. Nakay ma'am presi na po.
Okay, okay. So, send na lang po lahat ng kay Sir Nick.
Oh, padala mo si Nick. Squall.
May padala na rin.
Tapos, you can get a copy of the letter that I wrote to the president,
I'll get a copy.
and the letter I wrote to Anyo, and the letter.
Paborito?
It's not here because I just hurriedly put together. I have to Xerox one by one, you know. It's so hard for me talaga kasi I'm low tech eh. I'm talagang hindi marunong.
I'll just get a copy.
Pa-email na lang yun.